Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to the podcast. I've been meaning to watch that. I'm your host Monica. We are joined again, new week, new topic, and new guest. This week we have a very new guest with us today. He is someone I came across on TikTok and he gives really awesome reviews on new TV shows and movies. So if you're ever looking for someone to give you quick reviews about a show he watched, like point blank, simple, straight to the point, I highly suggest you follow him. He goes live on TikTok. He also goes live on Twitch. He has a YouTube channel, and I find him to be someone who is straight to the point, gives great reviews, and gives really, really good and solid recommendations, especially when it comes to anime. And his name is Mr. Rogers. So guys, say hi to Mr. Rogers.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
How y'all doing?
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I'm just glad to have you on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to do, like I said, this be like my fourth podcast I'm doing. And it's really cool. It's very interesting to just sit down and just actually talk sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I know on TikTok, like, some people do like just the minute videos. There's some people who actually take advantage of like doing 10-minute videos, which I find to be like too much. Like, that's
Yeah,
too long to
yeah,
look at something vertically. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. They're trying to horizontal stuff now.
Yeah. It's not
They're trying to push that out. But TikTok it just feels weird. Like if I want that, I just go to YouTube.
exactly. It's gotten to the point where now I just watch YouTube videos. Like, I don't even go on TikTok anymore. Like, I have to scroll through like
Ooh.
so many ads and so many like
Oh,
unnecessary
it's getting
stuff.
terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
getting terrible. I
It's
don't even
not fun
scroll.
anymore.
Right, like even if you scroll on somebody's page, they throw an ad in there. Like if you go to
Hmm.
their profile and if you hit like I want to say two or three videos, they'll throw an ad in your face. Like, hey, want to get this? I'm like, I'm on this page for a reason to get away from the
Right,
ads. Like, it's
exactly.
trying to bring it to me. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have you on.
Mhm.
Guys, today we're going to talk about the hit Amazon show Swarm, which a lot of you may have already seen. It's a show created by Janine Nabers and Donald Glover, and I am really excited to dive into it with you guys. Before we do that, we're going to jump into Media Mania, which is the top of the segment we have at the top of the podcast, where we talk about new releases and entertainment news, and a lot of things have been happening in the news today. So there's a lot to discuss. But, before we get into any really big
Ooh.
stories, let's start off a little bit small. One story that I wanted to cover was something in regards to Amanda Seales. Some of you guys may know Amanda Seales. She is a comedian, she's an actor. She's best known for playing Tiffany off of Insecure, the hit HBO series. And she recently went to the internet, I believe on Instagram, to talk about how she feels like she has been blacklisted from Black Hollywood. And the main reason why she felt this way was because she was nominated for, I believe, an NAACP award, but she was not invited to the NAACP awards.
Mhm.
And she also said that she hasn't been invited to Essence, Black Women in
Essence. Yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a brunch they have, and then she says she's never been honored at Black Girls Rock, and she hasn't been invited to the BET Awards. I do
Mm.
think that she hosted one year, but after that, they didn't invite her back on.
Mm.
So she basically went on Instagram to share her feelings and to talk about how she feels like there are a lot of people who support her work, but she
Mm.
doesn't feel like in a lot of these spaces there's any kind of space for her to really like be herself, because Amanda is a very outspoken and a very honest person when it
Mhm.
comes to calling out like societal injustices, and a lot of times people champion that, but they may champion it at a surface level, and that is what Amanda expresses in a lot of the videos that she shared on Instagram. And she just, voiced her frustrations in regards to that. Yeah.
Seems like she wears her heart on her sleeve and she wants to express it every chance she gets, and sometimes that rubs the wrong people the wrong way, you know. But that shouldn't be issue when it comes to getting hired, you know, unless she's causing background trouble, you know, behind the scenes things. Has Issa Rae said anything about it? Like, that
To be
has you
honest,
got that with her?
Issa is not the kind of person that responds to this kind of stuff. you
She don't
know.
respond to a lot of stuff, to be honest with you.
No. The interview she did with Netta Porter talking about how Warner Brothers cares more about their people on Wall Street rather than the creatives is the first time she's ever really spoken out and said anything negative in regards to the
Mm,
industry. So she's
mm,
not someone who ever comes out and like talks about things like a
right,
response to things. She doesn't do that. Yeah.
right. Which is not a bad thing, but
Hmm.
you know, they did was on the show for the only reason I asked because they was on the show for so long together. It was like, okay, that's like sisterly thing. And I think she did. I think is it Angel Reese? I'm sorry, forgot her name from Tiffany. I just be calling her Tiffany. Well, I think she did a couple episodes on Black Lady Sketch Comedy.
She did. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hmm.
so that sisterhood, I was like, okay, she's speaking out, we'll have her back, she's speaking out, they'll have her back, but I don't know. I just know every time you try to you speak against Hollywood, you get shut down for the most part. Even if you're trying to do something that's like really well, really good, it's not right. But I don't know. I just want to see if I would like to do some deep diving of like what shows that she's either trying to reach out to, or besides the getting invited to award shows,
Hmm.
what movies and TV shows that she's not getting callbacks for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is she reaching out to these executive producers and they're just like, no, we not mess with you, or yeah, we'll get back at you, and they never get back to her? Like, is it more of that type of blacklisted, or is it just she just not feeling part of the circle anymore?
Yeah.
So,
It could be the circle, I'm
mm-hmm.
guessing, because um, one thing about Amanda is that I've seen
I mean,
her stand up, and yeah, her stand up is really good. No, it's fine.
Sorry.
She's very funny. She has really good stand up,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a show called Smart Black and Funny that she was like actually doing in Los Angeles with a lot of like black actors and comedians. And I
Okay.
think they probably put a pause to it. I'm not sure during the pandemic. I have to double check and see. But the show was pretty popular when Insecure was on HBO, and
Mm-hmm.
she's done stuff like she was on The Real, which she was
Yeah.
then, let
Yeah.
go from The Real. And I really think it's not that it could be that there are certain people in certain spaces that don't really get along with her. That could be the case. But I
Mm-hmm.
really think what the thing is that there are certain gatekeepers, in
Mm-hmm.
like the higher echelons of
Right.
Hollywood. And
Right.
even though Black Hollywood is something that cultivates blackness and black culture, at the end of the day, BET is owned by Viacom. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's not all it's not all us there running
Right.
things. So
They
if you
gotta
do,
answer to that person above them
yes,
just to get the things that they have now. So it's like,
yes,
so are we gonna bring somebody that's already problematic into the fold?
mm-hmm.
Like to the table? Which is, if that's the case, then it's like, okay, well, we right back where right back square one when it comes to things. We got gatekeepers at the door, not letting certain people in. We have, um, it's not all about unity. It's about how we can stay at this table
Yeah,
and make sure the network flourish according to them,
yeah,
not according to the culture. And that is a problem. When you think of that is a big problem. That's a red flag. And
yeah,
she might be on to something, you know.
yeah. And I don't disagree with her to an extent because
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about this, but there's a reason why Tyler Perry somehow has a monopoly on all the shows on
Yes.
BET streaming services.
Oh my God.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, yeah. It's a huge reason why. I mean, like,
Yeah.
the man. I have my problems with Tyler Perry. Like, I used to love his plays. Like, well, not
Yeah.
all of them,
Right.
most of them. The first few that came out, loved them.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he started doing more movies, it's like, okay, you're doing the same thing over and over again. But
Mm-hmm.
I see what he's doing. Like, he's making sure that this network is pretty much his. He can't buy it. He just he will make sure his face is what makes this network run. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have some good besides Tyler Perry. I mean, you have some good people there. I mean, like Kev on stage got his show on there, Churchy. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah.
But Tyler Perry is just gonna be always there pushing his crazy, somewhat very, very similar in style shows.
Mm-hmm.
To where it's almost the same thing. You got sisters and you got brothers, and you got Ruthless, which is, I would say, Ruthless is probably the most far out of left field thing he's ever done. But he's gonna be the man that at that network. I feel like he's talking directly to Viacom and making his decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing could happen with Monique. I think Taraji almost hit that black ball during the whole Color Purple run.
Yeah.
I know Oprah. Well, I don't know how true it is, but they're saying that Oprah is blaming Taraji for Color Purple not doing well in the box office and stuff like that.
Which is ridiculous because there are a number of reasons why I did not do well. Number of reasons. Don't blame it on one
Very,
person.
very. Oh, it's easy to put it on one person.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Talk to the
But
studio.
yeah. Oh my God. Listen. But he has that inner circle is strong.
Yeah.
It is very strong. And if you want to make it, well, I mean, that's not the only route you can take, but if that it
No.
seems like that's the only route you can take.
Yeah.
It's very lucrative if you can get in that circle.
Mm. For a
So
lot of like black actors, they did start with Tyler Perry movies. And,
mm-hmm,
like you said, Tyler Perry productions are very lucrative. And yes, there are other ways to get into the circle. But if you are lucky enough to do very, very well, you have to
mm-hmm,
take the Issa and Donald route where you make
mm-hmm,
outstanding projects and then you
mm-hmm.
kind of just disappear.
Yeah.
Like you can talk every so often, you can speak out every so often, or you can speak through your work. But if you're
Mm-hmm,
someone who's very vocal about certain things and maybe it rubs people the wrong way, then you may not get booked for a lot of stuff. Like Jamila
mm-hmm,
Jamil, she was on The Good Place, and that was a really good show, and it was nominated for. It was like I think well regarded for a very long time. But Jamila
mm-hmm,
Jamil hasn't really been booking much. Like she was in one episode of She-Hulk, and that's just about
mm-hmm.
all we've seen her in. I think she also was like working with the Impractical Jokers, which didn't make any sense because why would she be doing that? But like, you
Yeah,
know,
that sound left field.
but that's just another example of like someone who's talented and was well
Mm-hmm,
known and in a pretty good show, but because of like possibly because of how spoken they was and like maybe that rubbed people the wrong way, like
mm-hmm.
it caused them to take a little dip in like their bookings, so they weren't
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
seen as someone who is like someone that people wanted to work with, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
And it's a slippery slope because it's like you don't want to be too quiet and too loud because then you're gonna get in your own culture, you're gonna get labeled as coon, brown nose, you know, whatever term they can think of that is negative for you when it comes to dealing with white people and other races and not trying to stand up for your own race or your own kind or whatever. And then if you're too outspoken, then you get this situation. It's But where's the line? The line is very blurry
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's more like you had the people, like for example, when Vine was going on, you had people like King Bach or whatever, King Bach, is it King Batch?
It's King Batch, D Storm Power, those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those they were, I ain't gonna lie, I watched some of these stuff. I thought some of these stuff was funny, but after a while, I was just like,
Yeah.
y'all pander a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some pandering motherfuckers. And when Vine went down, you seen how quick they went straight to like just it's like it went full storm. Just I was like, oh damn, they doubled down. And then when the Black Lives Matter movement started happening, and it was just cringy to see how they was like, okay, we
Mm-hmm.
got to stand up and say
Yeah.
stuff. And so I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. You're doing just enough.
Uh-huh.
That's why I say the line is blurry because it's like you can be that type of person who your majority of your audience is of the race, and then now something you do a flip, whatever. It's gonna look weird. It's gonna always look weird. It's gonna look like you're not trying to be called out for your bullshit.
Yeah,
But
I'm not gonna lie. You mentioning Vine reminded me of how like it was so interesting to see people like King Badge, D Storm Power. I know there was another guy, but I forget his name. And then there was like Meech on Mars, Kenny Knox.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and how those kind of creators are very different from like King Batch's creative
Hmm.
like style. But King Batch is a guy who you saw getting all these movies and like he was on the
Hmm.
Mindy Project and
Hmm.
Misha Mars and Kenny Knox just like I mean they're living their life and they're doing well, but you didn't see them like,
Nah.
at the Streamies, Webby Awards, whatever it was,
Hmm.
like you didn't see them do living it up like they were. So
They was with Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They was with the Paul brothers and stuff like that.
don't nah no.
And it's like, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Get it how you live, but we already know what you're doing. Like you are pandering
Yeah.
to a certain demographic so you can get into the Hollywood, so you can break that mold, so you can uh I'd say cross that barrier that we're talking about, because you're not getting into the circle of Tyler Perry and them, you're getting into the circle of um who would that be? Like Will Ferrell and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get in that area because I mean, like, yeah, he was in Babysitter. That movie. He was in both of them. The Babysitter came back in the way. He was in Babysitter. He was
Wait, are you talking about
he-
that the horror movie with like Bella Thorne?
mhm.
Oh, really? He was in
Yeah,
that?
yeah, he's in
Oh.
that. Yeah, he was in both of them. With the second one had Jenna Ortega in it. Like he
Oh.
done he done. I think he's in another movie that show that's coming out. Like his career is going. Like we
Yeah.
we talking about it, but his career is still flourishing. But
Yeah.
we know what he had to. I wouldn't say what he had to do, but how he did it. You
Mm.
know, versus the other guys. Marlon Webb, who's actually Marlon Webb. I just seen a video where he's like, still debating if he was even want to still do content creation and stuff
Oh.
like that because he's putting in the work and I know it got a sting to see like the same people that was on Vine are now in movies or doing like huge fight deals. I don't know what the fuck that came from, but all that stuff. So Marlon Webb, I thought he was a really good dude, even though some of his stuff is a little questionable, but he still well, he did stereotype comedy, of course, but his stuff was still funny. It still was kind of the same path as King Back took. I wonder what happened in that crossroad of where you got the movie deals and everything to I'm still doing content creation on YouTube and everything else. So that's what I be wondering about sometimes. Like what happened in between? Do you not do well when it comes to talking to producers? They don't look at you that way. What is it? Or is it only a few of us that can get in there
Mm.
at a time? Because
Yeah.
I was trying not to get too off topic, but when it comes to black comedians, if you notice, it's only like one that's really super famous at a time. Like Richard Pryor to was that Richard Pryor to like Bernie Mac to Eddie Murphy, from Eddie Murphy, stuff like Chris Rock, which I don't really like. But yeah, Kevin Hart is on top now.
Mhm.
Um, like who's gonna be the next one?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I I mean, I definitely agree with you. It does feel like at times that, the industry, whatever it be, like the film industry, television industry, or like the music industry,
mhm.
oftentimes has like this quota
Yeah,
for, you
yeah.
know, black people at times, especially when it
Hmm.
comes to like film and television,
Hmm.
because there are like a number of movies that come out every single year and a number of
Hmm.
performances that come out every year, and the amount of films that get snubbed with black leads is actually like it's surprising. And like
Hmm.
in all sincerity was surprised when American Fiction got Best Adapted Screenplay because I
Mm,
assumed that that was going to go to Barbie, you know.
yeah,
And I'm glad that it
yeah.
went to American Fiction. I'm glad American Fiction went home with something because, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was going to get snubbed because that movie did not make a lot of money at the box office. It was released in December around the same time that The Color Purple was released. And if you're
Hmm.
looking at the patterns within the nominations for the Oscars, The Color Purple is a more surefire one to be nominated because it has already nominated or already regarded actresses
Hmm.
like Taraji P. Henson. Fantasia
Hmm.
is a very well known singer. It is a musical, it is a remake, and
Hmm.
it is black led. So you
Yeah,
already assume that we're going to go ahead and just like shoe that in.
yeah.
And that happens a lot of times with like nominations
Hmm.
for, you know, a lot of award shows, especially the Oscars. Like if there are two Welsh movies with black actors or like black characters, black stories, and they're both
Hmm.
up, one of them has to do well and the other one doesn't
Yeah,
get anything. So
yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not off.
yeah,
It does happen.
yeah, yeah. I stopped paying attention to the Oscars. Well, I still pay attention. I still, look at who win this, that, third one.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
as far as like taking
Taking the nomination
taking the
seriously.
nomination serious, taking the winners, like, okay, these winners not about to take out, because 9 times 10, if a black person wins, like Halle Berry, for example, if history proven of like best actress awards, her career should have been like straight through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of took a nosedive a little bit, then it kind of like rocked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else? Can't think of none like right off the top of my head, but there are a couple. Uh, damn, it just came and lost. uh, there are a couple of them that just they win the Oscar. Monique, for one,
Mm-hmm.
she got black. They said, even though she said she got blackballed, but she won her Oscar. It went downhill. Her, in her words, she was supposed to. She was still getting lowballed in uh money. Still
Mm-hmm.
getting lowball for money deals, still having to be called out to rehearse and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, okay, the rehearsal thing, I think you probably, it's probably a little reach, just because they might want to see how you act towards a certain something else. But it's the money thing is, once you win the Oscar, 9 out of 10, your salary shoots up 10, 20,000. Well, how much ever, 10, 20%. That's how it's supposed to be. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting that, then I understand that. That's how I've been looking at it, because I think once they said, like, once Denzel won his Oscar, his salary shot up and stuff like that. Will Smith was already getting paid, so
Yeah.
anyway.
For a lot of
Yeah.
yeah, I do have to agree with you. Like, I think that I do put a lot of investment into like Oscar nominations simply because I just
Mhm.
have this podcast. So like, it's one of the
Mhm.
things that we cover. And
Yeah.
from what I've studied, at least, a lot of times nominations can help actors for the most part. Because Tracy
Mhm.
Ellis Ross got her first, I think it was a Golden Globe nomination for Blackish, even though she's been acting for a long time. And she said
Yeah.
that nomination opened up doors for her, you know? And
Mm.
it's the same
Okay.
thing with America Ferrera. After she got her Oscar nomination, she then signed a deal to produce a film based off of a book that seems very similar to her own story. And like
Mm.
America Ferrera, who is a well known, beloved actress,
Mhm.
it probably would have been not as easy for her to get that deal. But when you have
Right.
when you are Academy Award nominated
Nice.
actress America Ferrera, it's like, oh, we should sign
Yeah.
her a deal because if the
Yeah.
Academy says that she's worth it, that she's definitely worth it. And Divine Joy
Worth. Yeah.
Randolph, she is a black woman. She won Best Supporting Actress for her role in The Holdovers, and she was a Tony
Mm.
nominated, I think also Tony winning actress. And she should have been previously nominated for her role in My Name is Dolomite, the Eddie Murphy movie.
Dolomite. Dolomite. My name is
Dol
Dolomite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She should have been nominated for that one, but she wasn't. But she won for The Holdovers. And I know that she said so in an interview, like, now that I've got this award, it's about to roll in. Like the money's about to roll in.
Yeah.
Like it's about to
Yeah.
go off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it is
Yeah.
the trajectory for people's careers are very like different in terms of nominations.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's really, really good. Like Michelle Yeoh, she's been acting nonstop ever since she
Mm-hmm.
won her Oscar.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Yeah.
it's not that great, like for Monique or for Halle Berry, or even for Anna
Yeah.
Kendrick, who got nominated for an
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah.
She's like
Uh,
still doing
I
whatever
want to
she's
see
doing.
how Divine. She just won Best Supporting for the
Holdovers.
holdovers. Yeah, the holdover. I
Yeah.
want to see how her career takes off. You know, like what happened because I like her. She's really
Yeah.
good. She was the best thing about the fucking what's that what's that show the weekend show
The Idol?
the Idol. Yeah, she was the
Did you
best thing
watch
about
that?
it. I watched some of it. I watched a good bit. It was trash. It was terrible. But
Yeah.
she was good in it though. Like
Okay.
she made it worth watching for the stint that I did watch it. But she was also in this I want to say it was her the show called People of Earth, which I'm mad is not streaming anywhere because it's a really good show. Got my boy I'm gonna look it up right now.
I haven't heard of that show. I know she was on High Fidelity, the reboot with
Mm-hmm.
Zoe Kravitz, but I haven't heard of People of Earth.
Yeah, Divine Joy Reno, People of Earth. It's a sitcom where um the dude that's what his name is hold on, Wyatt Sennett. If you ever heard him, he had his own show on HBO where he was doing like he was looking into like police brutality and how can he, what is the core issue of it
Oh,
and stuff like that.
yeah. Why said it? I
Light
love
skins,
him.
yeah, yeah. He's the main character and he has like a run in with alien abduction or whatever, and these aliens are trying to like infiltrate Earth or whatever. But it's a full out comedy. It's kind of like Resident Alien that's out now, but way before that. It was funny. It was real. It was good funny. She was in it, and she was phenomenal in it. Like I was like, damn, she's funny as hell. She's funny as hell. She talks shit, whatever, and it's just a good watch. But it's not streaming. You got to rent it. So I'm like, damn, I want to talk about it more, but
Ah,
I don't like telling people to spend money.
yeah. Even when you let people know, like, it's streaming somewhere, they're like, oh, okay, and they just never watch it. So, like, having to,
They
like,
know
Reddit
that.
is like, no, 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 no.
Exactly. I can be like, yo, this movie is free right now. I know you got Netflix. This is on Netflix right now. They'll be like, I'll watch it. And then they'll come back to me like 4 or 5 months later. Yo, I just started watching that show, man. It's good. I'm like, it's canceled now.
You started
Like it's
watching it
canceled
when it didn't
now.
matter, bro.
This is trash time now. It's trash views. They're not bringing it back.
They don't care. They don't
They don't.
care.
They don't.
They moved on. Okay.
But yeah.
We have to. I'm going to move on to our next topic. I was going to
Okay.
talk about Beyonce's new album, but the day we're recording this is the day before it comes out, so I'm just going to skip that. And
Okay.
this is something that, like, I was hesitating on talking about because I was like, I don't know if I want to cover this, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it, okay?
Okay.
Because everyone's already talking about it, so it doesn't even matter. So, for those who don't know, you must be living under a rock. You must be, because you have to have missed the news that on March 25th, federal agents raided Sean Brotherly Love Diddy Combs
Take that.
Miami and Los Angeles homes. Homeland Security
Yo.
seized his phones in Miami before he was scheduled to depart to a trip to the Bahamas. Now, is he in the Bahamas now? I don't know, because like TikTok says a lot of things. Okay,
They saying that man in Cape or somewhere. I don't know.
Basically, Sean Diddy Combs is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So Homeland Security raided his home, and they have found. First of all, they found firearms in, I believe, his Miami home. And essentially, the raid is connected to allegations of sex trafficking and sexual assault, and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. There have been 3 women and 1 man who has been interviewed by federal officials in Manhattan in relation to the investigation. And a representative for Homeland Security said that they had executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation and would provide further information as it becomes available. And it's very clear to me that, like, I want to be so clear to everybody. When the when a federal agency comes knocking at your door, it's over. They have it all.
They have everything they need.
If
It
they
is
come
in
to
their
both
mind.
your houses at the same time, coordinated,
It is a slam dunk case for them.
it's a wrap.
Like he did it.
They're
Like he's
taking you
done.
out.
He done did it.
All of the people online saying that like this is an attack on the black community. You know, he's done so much to music. I need y'all to take it, pack it up, and take it over to Kanye's camp because we don't care no more.
We don't care no more.
No, we don't care.
It's been I wouldn't say it's known, but it's been ever since
There's been
the,
whispers.
the conception of TikTok. There have been people with case study files trying to take down conglomerate companies.
Mm-hmm.
They had this one girl, even on YouTube, this one girl, even before the Quiet on Set premiere, she had already had all that stories going down.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy was one of those
Mm-hmm.
where people were compiling evidence. I don't even think FBI even had to do their job. They could have just got on TikTok and just took notes and confirmed with what was going on, because people have been talking about it. They've been saying, "Hey, this is happening." And then when Cassie news came out, they was like, "See, this is what I've been saying." But even with all that, I did not think Homeland Security would be coming after him. Like I would have thought the local police or something would have raided him or something. No, they said Homeland Security. I was like, "Bro, you are a national threat."
Mm.
You are a national.
Not a national. Here's the thing. I actually have a timeline, so we can go over a very basic timeline of what happened. So
okay, cool. Yes, let's do it.
Here are the lawsuits that were filed against him prior to the raid. Okay, he has denied all allegations individually through his representatives. So,
of course,
November 2023, Cassie and two other people filed suit. They filed a civil suit against Combs, alleging that he had sexually and physically abused her during the course of the relationship. And it was said that this abuse ranged from 2007 from 2018 when she left him. And they settled the suit a day after it was filed.
Yep,
And
I remember that.
I was actually shocked when I saw how quickly it settled, but y'all, if you settle it that quickly, I mean, wow.
It's like she gave him a number. He said yes. He didn't try to do no negotiating or nothing. It just yes, I got you.
He didn't try to drag it out or nothing. He was like, wrap it up, throw it away. I don't need that. So, also on the last day of eligibility under the Adult Survivors Act, Liza Gardner filed a suit against Combs as well, alleging that he had sexually assaulted her when she was 16 years old. And then she did not return to NBC for a request for comment on the lawsuit, and Combs denied the allegations. So after that, December 2023, Jane Doe filed a suit alleging that she was gang raped by sex trafficked by Combs and Harve Pierre, a former longtime president of Combs record label. And she said this happened in 2003. She was 17. Combs was 34 when this happened. After that, February 2024, Rodney Jones accuses Combs of RICO enterprise. Man named Rodney Lil Rod Jones alleged in a federal suit that Combs and his associates engaged in serious illegal activity. He worked as a producer for him. He alleged that he was sexually harassed by this man and that he was forced to get sex workers for Combs and witnessed Combs giving drinks that were laced with narcotics to people at parties. And he said that he was forced to record him constantly, and that a lot of this happened in Florida, Los Angeles, New York, as well as on a yacht that Combs had rented in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There's another man that accused us as well, and they said they also had traveled with guns, drugs, and firearms on his behalf. And as well as that, there was an attorney saying that there's reckless name dropping in regards to this. It said that this is simply just to garner headlines. After that, March 2024, that's when his home was raided by federal agents. And that's what brings us to today. So there were 3 suits filed against him. Yeah. Before the raid happened. One after the other.
I'll tell you right now, it's a lot of jokes and everything going around. Like fact that we can't take shit serious. I mean, it seems like we can't take shit serious, but
Yeah.
that is out of frustration. I feel like because yes, growing up, if you grew up in the '90s, the only people when it came to rap, you had Biggie, Tupac, uh, Big, Crazy Bones, all Wu Tang Clan, and everything. So of course, Diddy is right there. So you're looking at this dude like a Mongol genius. You know, he's making money, he's doing stuff, he's flourishing. You're not thinking too much of it, you know? So now to hear all this stuff that's been going on, because I'm pretty sure it's years, decades of shit that he's done did. He just been getting away with it for so long. It pisses you off. I mean, it should piss some people off because this is supposed to be a pillar of the community. This is supposed to be the representation that we have of success. You know, every time somebody say, well, you know, black people can't make it out of the hood, Diddy should have been like somebody that people brought up because he made it out the hood. I don't know his backstory to a certain extent, but out of the hoods or whatever, right? So this makes us look bad. It makes us look terrible. We're you can't say that's white people shit because you got Diddy doing it. That shit pissed me off, man. I mean, the joke's still funny, but then you got to think about the victims, the survivors. I would say the survivors of these terrible fucking shit that he done did. Hopefully, they get paid and taken care of. Oh man, there's gonna be more people come forward.
Yeah, there also there have been a lot of documents that have been released
Ooh.
online. There have been documents stating that Carisha, Diddy's girlfriend, was
Yeah,
transporting drugs for him, and also
what he said, a pink cocaine.
yeah, and
Yeah,
essentially being his sex worker in a sense, and then finding
yeah.
girls for him to sleep with as well.
People was already spectating that anyway because it was like, why her young ass with him? And it
Mm-hmm.
was like she got like if you giving her an allowance to be with you, that's sex work,
Yeah.
right? So like that wasn't surprising, but her going out and trying to going to get other people because that's the same thing they try to get Ti and fucking Tiny with, ain't it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing they was trying to get Ti and Tiny up. So
Mm-hmm.
because ain't nobody hearing noise about that, I'm pretty sure that's gonna come. That's gonna circle around somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, damn,
Yeah.
bro, we about to. It's like when you it's like finding what Riley said on Boondocks is like waking up and finding Santa Claus smoking crack. Like
Yep.
all these people that we looked up to are about to be. You can't. That's why I stopped giving people flowers. I had segments when I was like, I give flowers to celebrities and stuff. I can't do that anymore because everybody got skeletons. I give flowers to this person, they seem they married a pedophile or something like that. It's crazy. But oh my god. Yeah, that Diddy situation is crazy though.
Yeah.
It's
It's definitely wild. Um
mhm.
I have to say, but I remember like when you were mentioning how when TikTok first started, people would like turn into like mini investigators,
Mhm.
and the things that I heard about Diddy was just that he didn't pay people like for like
Yeah,
music rights and stuff like that, you know, and like
that is yeah.
yeah, and not to trust Diddy. And of course, I saw videos about him allegedly abusing his ex-wife Cassie as well.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of this stuff that's come out, a lot of people are like rushing to like protect him and say a lot of things like, oh, he was such a pillar of our community and like he was a role model and all this stuff. And I don't have that same connection with Sean Diddy Combs because I was not like, even though I'm a 90s kid, I was very much a 90s kid who listened to like uh, Christian music. Like I'm raised in
Okay.
like a very Christian home. So when I
Okay.
finally did start listening to like hip hop, I did not have that same like childhood nostalgia and connection to it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So with all this happening and I'm seeing people react to it, I want to say like it's very shocking the
Mhm.
level that's happened. And it
Yeah.
very much feels like a very like Weinstein thing where this has been happening for a long time and this is
Yeah.
kind of part of his enterprise, and it was so interwoven within his music and his money that like for anyone to speak out about it, you would be like cast aside, or like you would be
Yeah.
like, screwed in a
Yeah.
way. And now that it's come to light in this way,
Mhm.
you can't deny it. You can't
Right.
kind of like you can't like act like this isn't happening. Like
What
if
what what I've been hearing, I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry.
no, you're
But what
fine.
I've been hearing is they're trying to do like a Fred Hampton situation where they're like, oh,
Mm,
they're trying to take down a good black man. I'm like,
yeah,
are you serious right now? Y'all comparing this man to Fred Hampton?
yeah.
That is wild. That is wild. No, you know, we're not about to do that. We're not
And
about to do that.
that's when I need to reach out and take y'all's hand and look you in the eyes and say that not every black billionaire is the same as Huey P. Newton.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same
Exactly
as
right.
Fred Hampton, Mal- Mar- Martin Luther
Malcolm,
King,
Martin
Malcolm
Luther King, Malcolm
X.
X.
Y'all got it all twisted. Let me tell you
Because
something.
it's not even like, okay, I don't even understand the R. Kelly argument. Like people are like, oh,
No.
he made good music. What? I don't care about that at all. But it's not even that situation. Diddy didn't make music. Well, he made music, but nobody really
Yeah.
cared about his music. He was just a
Right.
person that set people up in a situation to make music. So it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we going to bat for this person? What
Yeah. What do you
if
gain?
anything? That yeah, what do you gain? You're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
gain anything other than, oh man, thank you, man, for having my back. That's it. You're not
Right.
about to. He's not about to call you up personally and give you a piece of the pie. You don't know this man from a can of paint. Only thing you know is what you seen, what he shows you. And
Mm-hmm.
now, when this entire Homeland Security raid is showing you everything he done did in the dark, or at
Mm-hmm.
least the potential of what he did in the dark. I'm not gonna say he did it, even though I'm saying Diddy did it, but because that defamation case still can sue. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, showing everything, just you still like, well, they trying to just take down a good black man. So you're fine with this, is what you're
What
telling me?
makes him a good black man? What has he done for the community? What
Give
has
us
he done
music.
for the community besides make some good
I don't even,
hits?
I don't even think he was giving out turkeys. I don't even remember seeing him giving out no turkeys.
Oh my god.
All right, somebody send me a picture of Diddy passing out turkeys in the hood, like Marshawn Lynch or something, or Nino Brown. Then and Nino Brown gave out turkeys, and we know how terrible he was in New Jack City. So what are we doing?
Oh,
What are we talking about?
please.
People, rich white people do charities, and they still have millions and billions of dollars that they don't give out to the community. So charities,
Rich white
just because you do a
people
couple of charities,
hold galas for their charities and they like funnel their money through their charities. Like none of that
so
money
they don't
even
pay
goes to the
taxes.
people.
So yeah, funnel through the charities so they can get a tax write off
Exactly.
and still have the money.
Uh-huh.
So miss me with that. Miss me with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that it's very clear that it's over for Mr. Sean Diddy
Yeah.
Combs. And I mean that in like a very sincere way. And like, even though a lot of people in history are quick to forgive and forget and let
Mm-hmm.
people in, I am not that way. And I feel like if someone faces like the wrath of the US government, y'all need to understand that like this is not a joke. This man is not a martyr. This man makes music.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
he didn't do anything different from so many other people have done. And there are so many people that make good music and don't be doing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we could just let this lie and let this man go to prison because
Let somebody else have that spot.
that's where he finna be.
Like, come on now.
Please.
That's we try to hold on to these legends and
Don't need
these
to.
we don't need to at all. I don't know if that's a what is it? It's some type of complex. Like it's some type of complex. It's some type of fear to where they won't. Even though there's gatekeepers, and then you have the people that don't want to let people go that's already behind the gate. You know, like even though they're terrible people, even though they're people that have done a lot of wrong, you keep on giving them chance after chance after chance, and they still show some way to show their ass, and then people still they just kiss it and keep on going. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'll say that real quick. I'm like, I'm not fucking with that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all care, y'all. You can be, and then the people that actually wise up and speak out and say, no, I'm not doing that anymore. They're the ones in the wrong. They're the ones that's crazy. They're the ones that are that's wild. That's wild. When there's so many people, like how you say, that make music. There's a lot of dope underground artists. There's a lot of dope indie actors, that doing. And I mean, say what you want about Tubi movies. There are some pretty good ones out there for the budget that they're working with. And a lot of people just knock it off. Oh, this is Tubi. This is Tubi. They never, like, how do you think people get started?
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Nolan didn't just out of nowhere just start making grand movies. Like, he had to start somewhere. You might not see it right now, but he had to start somewhere. Right. Wes Anderson, one of my favorite directors is Wes Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
and Rusty Cundiff. Both of them have these low budget movies that they mess around and turn into a big budget type thing. Rusty Cundiff had like Sprung, I want to say. Oh, I don't want to say Tales from the Crypt was the first one. I can't remember, but he had that. That is Tales from the Hood. Sorry, Tales from the Hood is a hood horror classic. Wes Anderson did Bottle Rocket, turned that into a movie, and now he do his own movies and stuff like that. There's a black director and a white director that started from the bottom, same way, same path. Rusty's, I'm pretty sure his path was a lot harder than Wes Anderson, but he still made it, and he still did stuff. We will hear nothing about him being weird on the set, being all type of stuff. Knock on wood. Hopefully, no, we don't ever. But that's just my 2 cents on it. Like, hey, pay attention to other people instead of holding on to this creep that you're idolizing for whatever, because they gave you a couple good things in the past or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And to your point, real quick, I just want to say, like, you're right. We should, when there are people who are powerful and influential, and they're revealed to be terrible people, they don't deserve that spot in society they have any longer. Like, we should be more than willing to exile them, and make space for people who are more deserving of that. And you're right that, like, everyone has to start somewhere. And it's so funny that you mentioned Tubi, because there's a show that I just finished watching on Tubi. It's called, I think it's called Borders. I think that's what it's called. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to check. But it's so funny because, like, so many people talk about Tubi and talk about how Tubi is, like, such a, like, there are a lot of bad things on Tubi and there are a lot of things that aren't good on Tubi. But, like, honestly, watching Borders is a really good show. And it is called Borders. I just checked it. So Borders is a show on Tubi. It's about this very, like, posh British boarding school. And
I was about to check this one out. I know what you're talking about. I was about to check it out, but go ahead, explain.
So for those who don't know, I've seen like a few ads on TikTok, but I just need to like spread the gospel of Borders because it's such a good show and I loved it so much. So this very posh boarding school is enthralled in like scandal because 4 of the boys that go to that school poured beer on a homeless man and pissed on him. So to of like rehabilitate the image of the school, the headmaster reaches out to someone who I believe is either a teacher or someone who like collaborates with the school for like as a diversity outreach program, and they pick 5 students, very smart, very intelligent, very well-do students from I think South London, I'm pretty sure, to come to this school. Mind you, this school has like, as far as we know, only 2 other black students. Everyone else is white. I think there's like 1 Asian guy you see there, but everyone else is white, y'all. Right. So these students, it's like one black girl, very pro-black. She is not down with this, but she wants to like succeed in life. One guy, he's nerdy, wears glasses, likes anime. Pretty sure he's gay, but like he just wants to do school and like hang out. You know, there's one dude, light skin. I think he's like maybe Jamaican British, and he wants to sell sneakers, but people think he's a drug dealer.
Wow.
One guy, he is African, like straight African, and his parents tell him, don't hang out with those black kids. Be friends with the white people. Okay, get a job. Don't hang out with the black kids. Hang out with the white people. And that's what he does. Okay, and like if you're thinking like, oh, he sucks up to the white people, yes, and it's honestly sad. And then the last guy, black guy, very smart, very much giving like young John Boyega if this show does well, and he is.
Okay.
I don't know if he's like a gang leader or something, but he has a crew in his hometown. Okay. So when he comes to the school, he's a little out of place here. You know what I mean? Right. And he definitely like deals with like a brunt of a lot of issues at the school. This also because like it's Tubi. Tubi could get a little ghetto sometimes, and like it does get a little ghetto in this show. It does get a little ghetto, but it's good.
I'm gonna check. I'm about to watch that because I just started doing movie reviews, so I'm definitely got to watch that one.
I think it's only 6 episodes.
Okay. Okay.
It's an hour each episode, and the show's really good.
I got you. Yeah. Ooh, can't wait. That sounds really good.
Okay. So guys, I think that's a wrap on Media Mania. So we're just gonna dive right into the segment of the meat and potatoes. We're talking about Swarm. I just gave you a recommendation of a really great black show, so now we're going to talk about another amazing black show. This one is a satire created by Janine, Nabers, and Donald Glover, like I said before. Swarm is an Amazon Prime series. It follows Dre, played by Dominique Fishback. She's a young woman who's obsessed with a pop singer who is a character based off of Beyonce, but her name is Nisha. And the series follows Dre's life and how her obsession with this very well-known pop singer leads her down a very dark path. The show is 7 episodes long, and each episode is 30 minutes. It's 7 episodes, right?
I think it's 7 or 8.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's 7 episodes. And it's something you can kind of watch in a night. So it's a pretty quick watch. I'm going to be honest, before I even watched the show, I actually did not plan on watching it because as much of a fan I am of Donald Glover, sometimes I find that his works feel very surface level. I feel like a lot of times when I'm watching his stuff, it's like, this is interesting, this is intriguing. Like, I love surrealist comedy, and I love that he's doing this within the lens of like black characters and black stories. Like, that's so cool because a lot of things happen with like black people where you're like, no, that didn't. Like, someone's telling you a story, like, no, you're lying. And I watched like Atlanta, like that one episode where the guy's outside, he's like, he's got an invisible car. Like, that guy's got an invisible car. It's like, no, he don't. You're dumb.
He's just thinking of him, and then at the end of the episode,
he hits people. And everybody's like, oh, I'm an invisible car. So I like that. I like that comedy. And I don't know, maybe it was like the 3rd season, because I feel like a lot of people have like mixed opinions about the 3rd season of Atlanta. But with like the 3rd season of Atlanta, and I think also like This Is America, his music video, I have found sometimes when Donald Glover tries to make art, like make a statement out of it, I feel like there is something to be said there, but then me as a viewer, I'm kind of like, I understand that like I'm supposed to gain something from this, but I want to know if the writer themselves had a vision for what they're trying to say.
Right.
Like, if you, like, I don't need someone to tell me what I should be saying, but if I make an assumption of something, and someone else makes an assumption of something, so we're obviously getting a different message. Is there supposed to be one point to be drawn from this art, or are you just kind of like throwing things to the wall and hoping something sticks? You know
it's like that, what is it, abstract art, where you just look at it and everybody just sees something different, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Am I stupid?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Which is fine if you want to be like, Donald Glover and Stephen Glover has said in interviews before, they don't want to explain their art. They don't really want to do interviews. They don't
Mhm.
care about think pieces. They don't look at reviews. They don't look at anything like that. Like they make their art and they leave. You know, that's fine.
Right, right,
But
right.
I know for a fact that is not true because season one of Atlanta, Van is only like his like fuck buddy and his baby mama, and then she's introduced into the show more. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
someone told you like, hey, you have a black woman in your show, and she's just like a
There,
love interest.
yeah,
There
yeah. She
needs
would
to
have
be
no
layers.
personality. Yeah,
Yeah, like she's just there. Like
I
it
think
feels like
in season one she had that one episode though where she was trying to pass her drug test.
mm-hmm.
That was season one, right? Or was that season two? I
I
can't
think it was
remember.
season one.
Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
think that was like the most they gave her
Yeah,
outside of earned.
yeah,
You know, so yeah, I can see that
right.
because it really like, oh, you just now you got the black woman. She's just there to get fucked and just
Yeah.
be there, be his baby mama, and then now you turn her into a irresponsible black woman
Oh,
at that. You know,
oh,
so okay, using you.
no, we
So
can't.
you
You
can't do
know,
that. You
can't
can
do
give her
that.
some layers. I mean, you try to give her some depth, but
Yeah,
it's all negative. You
yeah.
gotta give some type of positive. Which I love flawed characters now. I do love me a good flawed character, but they gotta be something there for us to gravitate towards too, so we can
Mm-hmm.
love the flawness in them. And I think that if she was just there to be the nagging anchor of him, I think that just made it just look bad or whatever. That's like in Invincible. I don't know if you ever seen that, whatever. But
I've only seen season one, so
so season one, Amber,
yeah.
the black girl, whatever, she was white in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't have an attitude or anything. She kind of just went with the flow. So the people that created the show turned her black just to make her the black woman with the attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and then in season two, they do a drastic change for her because of the backlash that
Mm-hmm.
everybody was saying to her. So now she's totally different in season two. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, so it's kind of like the same thing happened with Van,
Yeah.
where it's like season two, now she's more outspoken, she's kinder, but at the same time, she still has her attitude. They gave her the episode where they went to see they actually because Zazie is actually
German.
part German. So they
Yeah.
actually throw that episode in there for her so
Yeah.
she can express her side of herself and give her more thing. And they made Ern look like the jackass in that episode.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't gravitating towards it. He was
Mm-hmm.
mad about certain things. So
Yeah.
that gave her more of an uplifting. So he definitely paid attention to his right to the to the comments and
Yeah.
everything.
I do have to say, like, I agree with you. I didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
about Amber in terms of Invincible. And, like, I do want to
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm a bit of an Amber defender because whenever there's, like, an unlikable character, I try to put myself in their shoes. You know?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I
Yeah.
can't relate to these characters because it's like, you're just annoying. I don't know why you're here. But for
Yeah.
Amber, I got it because the character of the guy who's Invincible, I don't remember, is the
Mm-hmm.
character's name Steve or
Yeah.
Steven?
The
Okay.
the actor is Stephen Young. His
Yeah.
name is
Mark
Mark. Yeah,
in the
Mark.
show. Yeah.
Mark is his name of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, if I'm Amber and my boyfriend starts running around, lying to me, bailing on
Mm-hmm.
plans last minute, and, like, doesn't communicate with me about stuff, and then I have to find out through my knowledge that he's a superhero because, like, his dad is Omni Man. So, like, it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, like, oh, yeah, he became a superhero, like, when he's 17. Like, that's something you
Yeah.
would assume if that's something that's normal in the world that you live in. So, me as your
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend, I'd be like, okay, well, why wouldn't you just tell me that you're a superhero now and you're going off doing missions? That way I wouldn't have to worry and think that you're, like, I don't know, cheating on me or just lying to me or avoiding me. And then you suddenly tell me, like, out of nowhere, you're like, I knew the whole time. I'm not stupid. You're not
See, that's
dating
the
an
part.
idiot.
That's the part that pissed a lot of people off because if you knew all this stuff about superheroes, then you got to know about secret identities and trying to protect the people that you
Right.
love and all that stuff. So if he's trying his best, to hide you from this world that can literally kill you, or they use you to
Mm-hmm.
kill me, and then you just be like, "Well, I already knew." Oh, that's
But
you
also,
know,
like
you ain't had to
that
throw that in
always,
my face like
but
that.
that always happens in like any kind of movie like that, where the guy's like, "I'm just trying to protect you." Like, just tell me what's going on. Like the girlfriend's always like, "Just tell me what's going on. You don't have to lie.
Hmm.
Like, I just want to know. I want to be
Yeah,
involved." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
It
that's
was like,
always what happens. And like, I feel like with Van, season 2 made her seem more relatable, and then season
hmm
3, I don't know what they were doing, but they were trying to go very abstract, and then Van just became like almost a different character. I don't remember
she
which season
she
it.
literally she literally acted like Amelia in Paris for that one episode, but she was depressed that whole time. That was the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
she lost her job. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't really know what to do with her life.
Yeah.
They invited her out to London. Like, what am I like? She didn't. She was in a uh, it wasn't a crossroad, but more like a freeway with so many different exits, and she just didn't know what to do with her
Mm-hmm.
life anymore. So it's like, I'm just gonna have fun. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do what I want. She started stealing and she started doing all kind of crazy stuff, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, almost like a midlife crisis for when a man goes and buy a sports car for no reason to feel young
Yeah.
again. Like it was kind of like in that sense. So I get what they was doing with that one because me and my wife was talking about it, and she was kind of like how you was. She was like, I don't like they messing Van up. And I was like, no, I kind of see that she's having a manic depression moment where
Yeah.
she just don't know who she is. She lived her life as this teacher, mother, dealing with her, you know, baby daddy that does stuff. Now her baby daddy is kind of successful, and she lost her job, and she don't know what to do with herself, and now she's just spiraling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I saw it as.
Yeah.
What
I can.
one thing about go ahead.
No, I can see what you're saying. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and this happens. I feel like this can happen sometimes in like the writers' room
Mm-hmm.
when you're writing a character. Like I feel like if you're writing a black woman and then like black women do not relate to this character, it's not that
Mm-hmm.
like you're writing her wrong. It's like you have to examine why. Because
Yeah.
I don't know many black women that would go to a foreign country and start pushing people in pools, stealing things, and then like take a stale baguette and start beating people. You know, that's
Beating the
something you
shit out of
do
them.
when you don't think of the consequences. Like you just
Yeah.
live in life willy nilly and
Thinking
like
of action.
yeah, yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, you know, black people don't live life without considering the consequences of your actions. So I feel like, especially in a foreign country, like that's not something you should be playing around with. Like you don't know like who these people are, right?
Now, I would say for that point, I would
Yeah,
say it was a lot of other things that were off the wall with all of them, like
right.
Paperboy going crazy on a rich mogul and cutting down his tree out of because he won a card game and he felt
Yeah,
like he was old. Like, bro, you are not in your hood. You do
yeah.
not have backup. What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can understand you got an attitude problem, but I would think even a sane because Paperboy is sane. He's smart. He's not just one of these typical hood dudes that just fly out the handle all the time. He can, but he don't. He's very reserved. So for him to just fly off the handle and mess somebody property up in their house was a little off the wall too. So like that entire season felt off because they was also doing the was that the season? No, that wasn't. I was trying to figure out that season they was doing the separate episodes too, like the random episodes of different people lives and stuff like that. Um, but I digress. It was off. It was off a little bit. And I feel like that just because everybody lives actors wise was changing so much since the conception of Atlanta, where Zazzy is in Marvel movies now. Paperboy is in Marvel movies. Zazzy, you know what I mean? Like Paperboy doing Eternals and Bullet Train and Chucky, and Donald's doing Star Wars. Hell, Lakeith Stanfield's doing all kind of stuff too. So it's like, hey, we got to just put something together so we can get them another season. And I really feel like that's why they didn't keep it going. Which,
Yeah.
to be real, they could have kept it going for another 3 or 4 seasons. You know, it could have been like Power or whatever. Whereas, like,
But
yeah,
Donald Glover obviously wouldn't want like it to go that long,
mm-mm.
and it was like I was actually surprised when season 3 and season 4 was released at the same time, but
Yeah.
Donald has a deal with Amazon, the same one that like Phoebe Bridgers, Phoebe Waller Bridge has,
Okay.
where it's kind
Okay.
of like this overall deal where it's like, hey, if you want to make something, make it, and we'll
Yeah.
like create a budget around it, which is how we got Swarm. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that like because everyone got so booked and busy after season 2 of Atlanta came out and
Hmm.
like they all started doing super well, that like they're kind of like, let's try season 3 as like something that's more experimental, and then season
Yeah.
4 could be like back to
The
the
farewell.
basics.
Yeah, and the farewell at the same time. So it's like, okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, with you can see in Swarm that from Swarm, Atlanta, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what I learned about Donald is that he doesn't like telling the traditional linear story. It's always gaps in between episodes, and it's like, okay, we're doing one thing, then the next minute we're doing something else, which I think is, I might be jumping ahead of myself because I didn't read the timeline. I read the outline. The criticism of Swarm comes in where people couldn't really connect to the character because if they felt like it was jumping from place to place, and I think that's the same criticism he's getting from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because that storyline jumps from time to time and you don't really know what time frame you are in their relationship and how long they've been together, what they've been doing. It's like one episode they're freshly meeting, then the next thing they're deep in love, and the next thing they're having like marital issues, and it's just like, damn, like how long have they been together? So when it comes to Swarm, it's like, where's this girl at? Like, and how long has she been on the run, and what are we doing? Like each episode is like a different story. It feels like a different time period. So that's I think that's just Donald Glover in a nutshell. Just
Yeah.
like, when I'm gonna tell my story, I'm gonna tell it how I want, and it's not gonna be, oh, 2 weeks. You're not gonna see a 2 weeks later or a month later. You're just gonna see the person in a completely different environment and mindset, and that's how you know that time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like it. I dig it. To be honest with you, because
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen
Mr.
Mr.
and
and
Mrs.
Mrs.
Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I haven't seen it
Okay,
yet.
a lot of people didn't watch it yet. I'm trying to get people. If you see it, watch that show. I'm trying to get my second season because that cliffhanger is killing me.
I feel like the second season's gonna come. Like,
Yeah.
it does seem like a lot of people do seem to like that show, but I will watch it. I'll watch it.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah, I did want to say, I when Swarm was first announced, first of
Hmm.
all, I've been following the news of Swarm when it was called Hive. Like
Oh.
back a long time ago, Donald Glover had
Yeah.
announced that he is creating an Amazon Prime show with Malia Obama as a writer because
Hmm.
she wanted to learn about film and television. She worked in the show Girls, so she's wanted to be in the film industry for a while. So her
Right.
getting the chance to be on this show with Donald Glover is like, I feel like perfect for her. And
Yeah.
then Chloe Bailey was signed on the project as well. So from the time that the title was like announced as Hive, people kind of like picked up like this is like a show like influenced by like Beyonce and like her fans and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And then the show is called Swarm. Dominique Fishback was added on as like the lead in the show, and it was released, and
Hmm.
there were like initial reactions where people were kind of like, how does Beyonce feel about this? But just like also hinting at like what the show talks about with like the fandom and the culture and how people like idolize like these pop stars and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
because Donald Glover has collaborated with Beyonce before, like on um, Black is King and
Hmm.
also on the Lion King movie,
Yeah. The
um,
Lion King. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they've
Yeah.
collaborated with each other before, in my mind, I was kind of like, there's no way this show was made without like some kind of approval or some kind of like go ahead,
Hmm.
because Chloe
Hmm.
Bailey is literally Beyonce's protege. So
Yeah.
she wouldn't have
Yeah.
said yes to the project if,
Hmm.
she did not approve. And there was an article that I read where Janine Nabers literally was like, Janine Nabers confirmed that Beyonce has seen the show, but there hasn't been
Hmm.
any confirmations of her thoughts on the show.
Mm.
So
Okay.
from the jump, I was like, okay, so this is a go. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the show came out, and I feel like a lot of people had like very positive reactions to the show, and they had like a
Hmm.
lot of positive things to say. And I was kind of like hesitant to watch it just because like I feel like when it comes to, you know, shows about social media or like young people can sometimes not be handled with like a very delicate hand, and a lot of times people are
Right.
very quick to just kind of do this whole thing of like, oh my gosh, these kids in their phones, they're on the
Right. Right.
TikTok,
It
they're
can be
doing the
cringe.
dances, like what's going
They-
on? And like
They're
Donald
doing the
Glover,
floss dance.
yeah, Donald Glover, like, is he knows how the internet works. You know, like
Yeah.
he has been on the internet his entire career. There was
Hmm.
a whole campaign for Donald Glover to be the next Spider-Man, which he
Yep.
like also kind of was like, yeah, absolutely, which is what got him in the Spider-Man movie, like the first one with Tom Holland, and also why he played, gosh, what is it? Miles
Miles
Prowler
Morales.
and Miles
Yeah, his
Morales
uncle. Yeah,
across the Spider
Cross the
Verse.
Spider-Verse. Yeah,
Yes, his little
he sparked
cameo.
his whole him wearing the suit was sparked Miles Morales.
Yeah.
So yeah, he knows how to work the internet. I mean, he got
Yes.
an album called because of the
Because of the
internet, and it's
internet.
fire.
Yes. Exactly.
It's fire.
So I didn't have any like reservations to this show being good. So when I first started watching the show, I was very intrigued by like the premise of the
Hmm.
show. Like first and foremost, did not expect that scene
The first opening, the opening scene,
with
like
Dasmond Idris. And I was like, wait a minute. What? This is not.
that is how you catch people's attention from the
Yeah.
jump. Like you put Chloe Bailey, one of the, like, I would say Black America's sweetheart,
Yeah.
taking back shots. It's crazy. By damsel Idris, was already in the running for like the most popular black actor, male
Mm-hmm.
actor, because of Snowfall.
Yeah.
So he's already big and everything. So you got him and Chloe, and you sparking relationship rumors and everything. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So
it
he
was
definitely
crazy.
knows how to like, play up what
Hmm.
people like to, talk about, what people like to see. So
Hmm.
I feel like from the first episode, I was definitely like surprised by what I saw. And I think that the one thing that took me back was, now this is something I don't want to admit, but like how much I related to Dre. Because I feel like
Hmm.
what Donald hit on the head for like a lot of fans is that there is an interesting subsect of certain fans that they don't really have like strong social cues. They don't really have any like strong relationships or ties to maybe like their family or the people, and them having like one close person in their life is like very real. So
Yeah.
for them to have like this strange like relationship where like someone who's very popular, very talented, very well known, in a way where they look at them in like a sense of a deity, is
Yeah.
because any other relationship they have with someone is not strong enough to pull their attention towards a real person, and they have to anchor their identity and to anchor their like soul, like purpose and like obsession and love towards someone that is unattainable, someone who they have not met, someone they do not know, but only has a sense of who this person is through the persona
Right.
that they have projected out into the world. So I feel like
Right.
that was one thing that Donald Glover definitely hit on the head. And it does make like this obsessed super fan look more real,
Hmm.
like just seeing like who she is and seeing like just how awkward she is with other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. This the awkwardness was really done well by Dominique Fishback. I mean, she was amazing the entire series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but her just being like the church mouse and just being closed into herself. And I also want to say that Chloe Bailey did a good job as being like the best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I was thinking about this earlier. In my mind, another reason why she was so closed in on Nigel, because how you said it was like she was having problems uh with the social cues and not being able to attach to family members and everything, where she didn't have. She doesn't have a family. Chloe's family was her only family. Since they shared that together, she also put those. She kind of combined Nigel and I forgot what Chloe's character name is, but combined them together,
Mm-hmm.
and that was her world. Like that was something they shared, and then I think another reason why they actually showed the sex scene is because it's like, okay, she wants to experience, like that's her best friend, that's her sister doing that. It can either go one or two ways. This guy's gonna take her away from me, or we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna go together. So
I have to say,
her sitting there watching that was one thing too.
yeah, I think her watching it is like interesting because it's clear that she has not experienced that before. And it's
Mm-hmm.
possible that like the only other introduction she's ever had to sex is like through movies and like possibly through porn. So seeing it in real life
Mm-hmm.
was something that we're like she's almost studying it because it's so foreign to her. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and Marissa, who is Chloe's character, had said before that like Dre always seems to have a problem with any guys she brings around, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's just because the guys that Marissa probably dates are probably like hood guys and they don't know
Mm-hmm.
like how to be around like quiet girls or like girls that are awkward, you know what I mean? Like when
Mm-hmm.
the guy she was dating, I forget the character name, but when he was like, you know, I got some boys that I could hook you up with, I immediately was like,
Yeah.
no, ah, ah, it's too much.
Abort.
Ah,
Abort.
nope, nope. And then I'm sitting here like Marissa. I know you're upset because Dre maybe is like awkward and clingy, and like because you hang out with her, you can't hang out with other people. But like, if your boyfriend is trying to hook your friend up with just like a random guy, girl, that's weird. Like, why? She doesn't want that.
It's always like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always like that. Some dudes be like, I'm gonna bring my guy over. We can do two bands and stuff like that. It's that's part of the culture that a lot of black people have adopted. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
if you meet a girl, the first thing the dude want to do for some reason, hey man, you got somebody for my friend or whatever the case may be.
Uh-uh.
It happens. That's how, especially teenage
Sir.
like that's how it always goes. I don't know why. It's more of like a brotherhood thing, I guess. It's like if I'm got a girl, I'm gonna make sure my man's got a girl. That's the mindset. I almost missed out on my wife for that because that shit. My first time meeting my wife, my cousin was like, "Hey man, you see what she got a friend." I was like, I ain't want to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. I texted, and she was like, it took a while for her to text back. And she was like, "No, I'm by myself." I was like, "All right, cool. She ain't got nobody for you, cuz."
You on your own. Sorry.
You and your own. So that's what happens. That's what
Yeah.
happens. I don't know.
And I have seen like online people um theorizing that like Dre is possibly like was interested in Marissa. I don't think she was interested in her in that way. I think it was a way where she like admires Marissa because that's her
Yeah,
foster sister, you know.
yeah.
And it's in the same way that she admires Naija, where
Mm-hmm.
these women are smart and capable and amazing, and she wants to be close to them. So of course,
Mm-hmm.
like she wants to do whatever she can to like be near them. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people were confusing that with like romantic interests because
Yeah.
later on we find out that Dre is interested in women, but I don't think that was the case with her Marissa. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like when I was saying like they share that bond together, it was more like she was seeing Nigel and Rissa as the same person type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are the women that she's obsessed with.
Yeah. And you could tell like from the very first episode that like she does love Naija and she is
Mm-hmm.
like obsessed with her in a way, but it's clear that like, when I was watching this show, the first episode, and I was like, something about the way she likes Naija is not in a way where it's like it's hers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a way that people like certain things and they like it because like, oh, this interests me. I think this is cool. Like me, like
Mm-hmm.
I like anime, but like I only like anime really because my brother likes anime. So I watch
Right.
different shows so I could talk to it about with him. But
Right.
I also love reading, and I also love like
Right.
chocolate ice cream. And everyone in my family hates chocolate ice cream, but that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I like. It's my own
Right.
thing.
Right.
And with Naija, it seemed like something that she liked to find acceptance and to find a community. And she got these tickets because she wanted to share them with Marissa. So I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that they have in common. But
Right.
when Marissa didn't want to like go to the Niger concert. She wanted to go to Atlanta with her boyfriend. In my head, I was like, well, that makes sense. You know, like that's her boyfriend. You know, she
Hmm.
likes him. Like going to Atlanta, like it's a thing. Like I want to go to Atlanta. I want to go Washington D.C. I want to go to Chicago. I want to go to Miami. You know, like it's like people go on these trips. They want to do that, and
Right,
that's probably like in her head. Like in my head, I'll be like, oh, that's fine. We'll just go to the next Niger concert because
right.
there'll
But
be
that
another
destroyed.
one.
Yeah, that destroyed.
And at that point, it was like, wow, I mean, that was like the first thing, the first domino. And I did see online because I remember when this happened. This is one thing that also takes me out about the show because I've watched a lot of videos where people are like, did you see the Easter eggs of the show? And I was like, yes, I was there when they happened. I was there. I
Awesome.
remember episode one brings up how Nisha reveals that Cash, who is supposed to be like the someone like Jay-Z,
Okay.
cheated
Yeah.
on her, and then she drops
Yeah.
this album, and
Yeah.
Marissa calls Dre like all night, but Dre is with the Culkin brothers, so she didn't pick up her
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
And Dre sees that like Marissa called her, and I was like, oh my gosh, Nigel got cheated on, and now like you're saying that like my boyfriend cheated on me, like oh my gosh, like she felt like connected that way, but like it was so devastating
Yeah.
to her because like if someone like Nigel can get cheated on, what hope is there for me?
Right.
And
Right.
so she takes her home life, and then Dre goes home and she sees her, and obviously shattered by it. And this
Right.
is something that is reflective of something that happened in real life, but it didn't actually happen in real life. There was a rumor that a fan took her own life after she listened to Lemonade and found out that JC cheated on Beyonce. It was
Mm.
circulated online, but it's not real. I want
It's
to
not
let y'all
real.
know it's not. The show is a parody, not real
Mhm.
life. You know,
Please don't take your life.
please
Please,
don't.
please don't
Don't
take your
do
life
it. But
at
yeah,
all.
after I saw that and I saw like the parallels in the show, I was like, okay. I in my head I'm thinking like, damn, there's a lot of that y'all could pull from, but like, let's go.
Right. Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That first episode and that happened, and the that one did confuse me because I didn't know the context of it. I
Yeah.
had to get explained that. So I was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it didn't happen, but I guess they took it to the next level on this one where they actually shows, what happening. And I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. Get up.
Yeah.
But then little I know it get crazier.
Yeah. When she goes to see, I'm not gonna lie, when Joy goes to see Marissa's boyfriend, of course in my head I'm like,
They
she's
about
either
to do it.
going, yeah, in my head I'm like, they're either gonna do it or she's gonna kill him. And in the back
Yeah.
of my mind, I was like, well, she is a murderer in the show. Like, it's kind of like in that sense. So in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, so she's gonna kill him because like we already
Yeah.
seen like one dead body. What's another one? You know what I mean? Because she's so attached to Marissa, and she
Yeah.
went to the funeral. She wanted to be there, and then the family told her not to be there. In the
Yeah.
back of my mind, I'm like, why is that? Like, that's a little strange. But like,
That one did caught me off guard.
yeah. So
Hmm.
when she went to go see Marissa's ex and killed him, I was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
where it
Which was a
starts.
good kill actually. Like the way it was filmed was very well done. Like I like the fact that she was in the back room and they saw her walking up to her and hit him, and
Mm-hmm.
then wails on him and everything. With no type of music, you just hear the grunts and the smashing of using the crystal. I like that because we didn't need the big shocking music to tell us that it's a crazy scene. Like we're seeing it, we're witnessing it. So very well done when it comes to the cinematography.
Right. Yeah. I I feel like after that episode, I was kind of like, okay, so what's next? You know what I
Right,
mean? Like, what are we doing next? So,
right.
after that, Dre becomes a stripper, which immediately I was like, she could have
That
worked at
doesn't sound
Walmart.
that
Like,
doesn't sound right. Which like I said, I'm telling you, which brings us to my theory that each episode is just based off of a different person. That's why
mm,
her attitude and motivations changes. Well, it's pointed towards the same goal, but it's from a different type of person.
you think she takes on different personas?
Well, each episode is set up that way
Uh-huh.
for her to be a different type of person. It's still Dre, but yeah, she takes on a different persona. Like the first one, she's a quiet mouse, house wreck, and won't do anything. It could be, and then well, so I'm getting ahead of myself. The first episode, quiet mouse. Second episode, she's a stripper who not really a good stripper, but you got to have more confidence in yourself to get on stage and show your body and stuff like that versus somebody who, like you were saying, seeing first seeing sex up close and personal for the first time. I mean, even though she killed somebody, yeah, that's one thing. But now you got no confidence to be a straight stripper, even though you're just looking for somebody. I think that was more of a different person represented by Dre. So we can soak it in better, I guess, because the character development just is just not there for me. If it's supposed to be Dre going from house mouse to stripper to going back to being kind of like somebody that's very secluded and everything, especially after what she did, oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
um, in the Coat episode, and then the last episode, she's just a completely different person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's my mind. That's my mind. That's how I perceived it when I was watching. I was like, okay, so these are different stories. She's just representing them. She's representing that story by Dre. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that made it better for me to take in. So I
Okay.
mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel
And,
like it does make sense to an extent.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like episode 2 and 3 are very interesting because it just kind of like I feel like episode 2 and 3 are two of the better episodes because they do drive the story along more. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like episodes 1, 2, and 3 is like a complete this is so weird to say. It's a different show than from episodes 4 and onward, I guess I
Yeah.
should say.
Yeah.
Because, episodes 1, she kind of like gets like a murderous taste, and it's like
Yeah.
her obsession with Nija crosses this boundary where now she is like outwardly searching for people that talked about either Marissa or Nija
Mm-hmm.
because she for so long has been seeking and wanting this connection with somebody, and she had
Mm-hmm.
like this bond with her sister, and she had this deep connection to Nija, someone she idolized and loved and admired, and that was like so amazing and wonderful. And if anybody spoke badly about Marissa or Nija, she in her heart of hearts wanted to go after this person to kind of show her loyalty and to defend them,
Right.
which I understand why you would want to defend somebody. Like me personally, I'm never the kind of person to jump into the comments and like argue with somebody about
Oh
Beyonce
no.
because like no one's gonna start scrolling through Beyonce's Instagram and see me fighting for her. Like I don't need to do that. She's got it. She is a billionaire.
Sorry about
I'm
that. But
not.
yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But like I never need to do that. She does not need me to like unshield my sword to start like fighting the haters.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's doing too much. And like there are people who do that, and that's fine. That's okay. Like I fully, if you want to do that, that's okay. And I feel like the episodes 1, 2, and 3 is like where it first like lends to like, what if these fans, when they say they're
Yeah.
going to come to your house and find you, what if they actually do?
Right.
What if they
Right.
actually
Right.
show up at your
That's
doorstep?
yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Episode 3, when she was in that gym and she had that weight and she was on the elevator.
Girl, there are
I
cameras.
think she saw the badge. I said, girl, you just don't know how that man just unintentionally saved your life.
Yeah, yeah.
That
I
man just unintentionally saved your life.
I feel like episode 2 was so interesting
Mm-hmm.
because like her becoming a stripper, I feel like didn't make sense to me because I know like
Mm-hmm.
online young people are like, I'm gonna become a stripper and like become a millionaire, which like don't do that, guys. That job is very dangerous. Like it's not as
It's
like
very
fun. It's not as fun as
it's
you think
very
it is.
dangerous.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can't just start. I think a lot of movies like not movies, yeah, movies like Players Club, shows like P Valley,
Mm-hmm.
great movie, great show, but they do. take this narrative like, okay, you can be a stripper and you're gonna automatically get $1,000 a night. No, you might get $1 tossed at you because ain't nobody know who you are. It's just like trying to be a content creator. You got to prove yourself in that area and be the best because they already got their favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my little 2 cents on that.
Yeah, and it's also
I don't
like
see clubs where I don't see the strip club where girl go out there and she leave with $3.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful girl, did everything right, left for $3 because man, we don't know you.
Yeah.
They save their money for other girl.
Yeah, it's also the other like stripper influencers like on TikTok that like show their bands or like do like a money spread on their arm. It's like you're not gonna get that the first night. Also, you may not even like be chosen at your local strip club. You know, like they might even be hiring. Like this is not something that's like an open door, everyone's welcome kind of industry. Girl, this is a nursing. You know, pick up some
like,
scrubs.
We already filled already filled that capacity with strippers. You know, I'm gonna lose money bringing you on. You know,
you're fine. So when she became a stripper, I was like, I mean, I guess okay. And then you know she becomes friends with Paris Jackson, which I was actually surprised when I was so surprised when I saw that because I was like, you know, that's why I call myself Halsey. And I was like, oh my gosh, please stop talking. Stop talking. Stop it.
Paris Jackson. Yeah. I forgot she was in it for a minute, but yeah. Wow.
It's so funny. But I remember like she kills Paris Jackson's boyfriend and then Paris Jackson herself. And I was watching that and I was like, so what's the motive? Like, why did you do that? Like, I don't feel like. Go ahead.
I think the motive was mainly to get her out of her way. Like, okay, so she was like, well, she's bothering me because her boyfriend is bad. So I'll take her boyfriend out, get rid of the body. She don't have to bother me anymore. But if she shows up and see it, and if she starts saying all this stuff like, we could go do this and we can go to this place. We can, oh my God, it's gonna be so much fun. She was like, nah, I'm just gonna kill you. Like I was just gonna kill you two then and then get rid of both of y'all and just go about my business. Which is very insane to have that thought process because it's like you could have just moved or you could have just left or told her to just leave you alone. And I think she also was getting a little too close to her. Like she was trying to figure out who she was and everything. So it was like, that ship is sailed. But
in my head, I was saying it like, oh, she's getting a little clingy. Like, if you kill the boyfriend, then she will have no reason to hang out at her house because she'll feel safe at home again. But then she started getting closer to her, and I was like, girl, you're right. She could have just moved. Like, we did not have to have this kind of reaction until it was going on.
Yeah, she did a lot that episode though, because it was like you killed the boyfriend, you killed the fake Halsey, and then she also go to they found the strip house. The dude that she was actually looking for shows up because she had the bodies in the and they go to the house and she just automatically started jumping on them. Like Nacha has this many has 17 Grammys. Like what does she have? I was like, yeah, I don't talk to a couple people like that. Like they only talk about the awards and stuff. I'm like, well, okay, cool.
I'm not gonna lie, like there are people in film Twitter who are like that too. Cause like you mentioned you haven't seen a Scorsese movie and suddenly you need to be like excommunicated.
Excommunicado.
You say that you don't like Christopher Nolan movies and suddenly it's lights out for you. Like
I'm trying to tell you. Listen, you got to have certain criteria to say to be able to talk about certain things.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it or you haven't even attempted to see it, you are no longer qualified to have an opinion on anything related to that subject.
If you say that you like to watch movies at home and you don't like to go to the movie theater, suddenly like your opinion doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because like, what do you mean you don't want to spend $20 to sit in a recliner with a bunch of other people for 2 hours and I can't even get up and walk around and stretch my legs because that's rude. you
Yeah.
know.
You would be sitting down watching the movie. You don't need to stretch your legs. What you talking
I
about?
can't hear anything. Someone turn on the subtitles. Like, dang.
That's I was watching Shogun at the movie theater. I was like, yo, sometimes that, and then sometimes came
Yes.
watching. Yes, thank you.
Yes. That's why, like, whenever I get invited to advanced screenings, I'm like, oh, it's so cool. And then I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, what are they saying? What are they saying? Speak up!
I need my subtitles,
I
man.
Somebody needs to turn this shit on, please.
Please,
Oh
please,
my gosh.
God.
Next time, please invite me to an anime screening so I can get some subtitles. Damn.
In the sub, not the dub. Please.
Please, please, please. Don't dub it. Don't do that. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She did. It was a lot happening in that. I want to say that one was like what 30, 40 minutes, because what ended up happening with them strippers in the household though was just, that bitch left us. She was ready to hit him with that skillet, and he come. What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's crazy because like it's so obvious that this guy is a nice guy, and like, did he say something? Did he say something that he should have said about your sister? Yes, of course,
Yes.
but like, to kill him,
Yeah.
girl, he got a child. Like,
She got a child. He's now his motivations for picking him up. I don't really know, because it could have been like, oh, I'm gonna get one of them, at least get one of them, because I go to the strip club all the time.
yeah.
It could have been fueled for sexual favors or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the surface level, he's a nice dude that pick y'all up in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. He's not charging y'all anything. He's fixing your car, so it's like, okay, he said something crazy. That's it. Everybody talk shit on Twitter. That's what X now. That's what X is about for the most part. You go out there, you say something, you're gonna have somebody say, if you go out there and you say, you know what, I really like Jujutsu Kaisen, you're gonna have like 10, 15 people saying Jujutsu Kaisen is trash. You need to watch Naruto. These new animes is trash. Da, 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 da. And it's gonna be an argument out of nowhere. Like, you didn't say, oh, anime was bad or new anime is better. Nothing. They're gonna make an argument. That's what X is about. That's the beauty of it.
Someone's gonna say like, you know what? I like Jujutsu Kaisen, but I don't know about Gojo. They're like, my blue-eyed king. You don't like him? It's like, I'm kind of glad he's in the prison realm. Like, he was kind of annoying. It's banter. You don't get it. He's funny. Like, you don't understand. Like, he's my king. He's so hilarious. Like, oh my god. Like, you don't see. It's like, there's always something.
It's like, he's the main character. Like, it's like, no.
Obviously not, girl, because he's barely there. He don't do his job. He got one job. He ain't never there. He's out shopping.
Yeah, there's a lot of people think if you're not the strongest character in your show, you're not the main character. So, but yeah, it's that episode was crazy. That episode was fun. Are we going down a list, or can you tell me what your favorite episode was? I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah. Okay, so my favorite episode, I'm gonna be very honest, was, I think a lot of people would say it was like the episode with Billie Eilish, but I feel like that's only because I feel like two reasons. First of all, Billie Eilish, whatever. But also the second reason is because like that was the only episode Dre actually got help. Like, someone like talked to her and was like, "What's going on, girl? Like, hold my hand, take me through this." Like, it's sad that it came to like a white woman cult for you to get in touch and like really unravel what's going on. Like, for you to really unpack what's going on in here, because like there's a lot going on in here. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite episode was Falling Through the Cracks, because that's the episode.
Yeah.
That's the episode where there's the black lady detective who is kind of like unraveling this case with Dre as like a like, it feels very much like a Lifetime true crime special. You know what I mean? And also I'm watching the show and I'm like, I know that lady. Not a way like I know that actress, but like I know a lady who's just like her. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen that. I know this lady. She's my neighbor, you know. So I was watching it. I was like, yeah, yeah, they are
related,
like that. Yeah. So
related to it on a higher level.
yeah, and I feel like one thing that was interesting about that episode in particular is that the show did a really good job of just like breaking out of the form for a second to be like,
Hmm.
okay, so there is a young black girl who is going around killing people. People are mysteriously dying. And all these
Hmm.
people that have died have said negative things about this pop singer, Nija. Now, this is a very well known singer. It could have been one of her fans. Like, people are going to assume that. But, like, which one? She has
Hmm.
a lot of fans. So, of course,
Right.
some people would, like, write that off as, like, maybe these are just unrelated and people are just getting murdered. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, it's just, it just happens. But for her to
But
dig
no.
into it, and, like, if this was real life, someone would have to look into it. Someone would have to
Yeah.
like figure out what was
Yeah.
going on. And for you to be like, you know what, this show is like, you're watching the show, you're like, what does this happen in real life? And the show's like, let me give you an episode of what it would look like if this happened in real life.
In real life. Right.
Yeah. And I like that the episode shows like uses the names of the characters, but doesn't use the actors
Like,
when
actors,
they're
they show
talking
different
about.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's get confused hell. And I was like, that ain't Dominique Fish. that
Ain't Chloe
Marissa.
Bailey.
That wasn't Chloe Bailey. What?
Yeah.
What?
I think when they did that, the show is obviously giving us context to like who Dre really is, but also the show is being like, she is not a reliable narrator, you guys.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
this is not someone you should, really trust.
You
And I also,
whatever.
yeah, and I also found it very funny how, like, at the beginning of that episode, they're like, there are people who are, like, fans of icons, and these icons have kind of crazy fans. And it is a 10-second shot on Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, you see, because I knew, y'all are slick.
I like the dude said, I don't think Beyonce fans will do that. Would they do that? No, they wouldn't do that.
He's like
not murder. He said not murder.
It's also funny because he was fully in like Ivy Park and they had to like lift up the flaps so it wouldn't show Ivy Park. They're like, she said yes, we ain't getting sued, so cover it up.
We not copyright, no.
She and I are friends like that. I still need this. All right, Amazon can't catch a lawsuit on my case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
so I did like that episode because she also mentioned like the fact that Dre is a black woman, and they're like,
it's a hair.
Young black girls don't usually aren't really noticed, like when they go missing and stuff like that, because there are a lot of young black girls in the foster system and a lot of times people in the foster system, there are different outcomes for them, but a life of delinquency is not something that is uncommon. So for a young black woman who was adopted into a family and then subsequently unfostered from that family, it's not out of the realm of reality that she maybe not became a serial killer. Maybe that's not common occurrence, but for this black female detective to be searching after this case and her superiors and her peers are looking at it girl, why are you chasing this story? What is even there? You know what I mean? For her to be going after it and seeing it no, I see this girl. I see her for who she is. And I think the most interesting conversation that happened was with her and the lady at the foster home, where she got in their face and she was like, see, you only want to know what's going on with her story so you can understand how wrong she went, or so you don't have to blame yourselves.
Right.
Because that's how people are when it comes to true crime. People become so interested in how did Jeffrey Dahmer become a serial killer? How did Richard Ramirez become a serial killer? How did the Menendez brothers become a serial killer? Who are these people? How did Ted Bundy do this? They all want to know about their childhood. Yeah. What was the path? What led them there? Who touched them? All of these different things they want to know to make an excuse.
They take that data and they be like, see, if he would have been a nuclear family home, and this wasn't because he had an obsessive, relationship with his mother that he's picturing. It's all kind of stuff like that. Which I'm not saying that's not true or anything, but that's the data that they come up with from like these serial killers and stuff like that. I mean, that was like Mind Hunters, good show as well.
Mm-hmm.
About
Love Mindhunters.
yeah. So I mean, it's good data, but at the same time, like, bro, you know that foster care is probably the reason why she's acting like this, or the fact that y'all just did a bad job of setting her up, which
Yeah.
also falls on them.
To be honest, I feel like a lot of times in those kind of systems, whether it be like foster care or anything like that, the people who run them
Mm-hmm.
don't run them with like a watchful eye because of how many kids they have in the system. So if one of
Right,
those kids ends up like acting out, they really don't really take that kind of accountability, because how can they? If they take
right.
accountability for one child, they have to take accountability for all of them. And with the amount of
Mm-hmm.
kids that are in the system and then like age out of the system, like there's nothing they can do and nothing like they
Mm-hmm.
feel like required to do
Right.
sometimes. So with Dre and like her situation with the foster family that she was set up with Marissa,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that she reconnected with Marissa in whatever way she did, and that
Right.
they were
Right.
living together, because that's something
Mm-hmm.
that was not further explained in the show.
No,
And
no.
when she went
You would thought
to,
they grew up together and then moved in together, but no,
yeah,
they like she left, and Marissa had to like either track her down or she went back to Marissa
I feel
because
like she found Marissa.
yeah, because it was Marissa's house and everything, and she was she was living with her. So yeah, she tracked down Marissa's down and was like, "Hey sis," like no, no, no. She
Yeah.
tried to, and how did Marissa get her back in? Because like she tried to like, if I remember correctly, she tried to either kill one of her friends when they had a sleepover.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she tried to kill her, and they had to put her in the damn bait in the attic because she was jealous of them being with Marissa and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's too much. That's wild.
Yeah. It's very interesting, like, when they're telling the story about what happened at the sleepover, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, girl, you've had an issue from the beginning. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, this, listen,
yeah.
listen, if a rich white girl says she doesn't like Nija, like, that's not a commonplace. That's not a commonplace. You can't fault that against her. Like,
Not
even
at
though she may
all.
say, I don't like Nija, she's still gonna listen to whatever their equivalent of single ladies is when she goes to work
Mhm.
out. So obviously she likes one of her songs.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I feel like the response to like what she did to the girl and like how she assaulted her is like, oh,
Mhm.
that is that is a
It
that is a
was always there. It was
yeah.
always there. And they said something about her mom was I can't remember, but it was like her. It was it's where her mom uh was also had mental problems or did something to her or something like that.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it's a grandma, yeah, grandma, and like why is the milk red and stuff like that? Like, what did you do to your mom or whatever case? They don't really get. They left that very open ended. Yeah, that's why I like my favorite episode was the coat. No, no, that was like my second favorite episode. My first
Oh.
favorite episode was the girl by the family when they with Leon. I was surprised to see Leon ass in here.
I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised to see Leon too. But like I she was only in that house to ask them to pay for Marissa's phone bill, which like I'm gonna
Yeah.
be very honest, like there it's it's not that it's like uncommonplace. Like when you lose somebody, like
Mhm.
there have been times where like I've spoken to people that have lost someone close to them, and they'll call the phone number to hear the person's outgoing message.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because like it's really hard to let go when that person is gone. They want to hear their voice one more time, so they don't
Mm-hmm.
forget it. And like with Dre texting Marissa's phone as like
Mm-hmm.
a way of her like communicating with Marissa, and Marissa's almost like hyping her up, like, okay, you took out this person, we're gonna see
Yeah,
who's next, like as a way of like
yeah.
you're doing this together, But
Mm-hmm.
when Ricky Thompson was like, "Oh, girl, this is sad." He was like, "Uh, girl, I just
Like you
work
gotta pay the
here."
bill. You gotta pay the phone bill.
Yeah. And then,
I was like, oh shit, I know him. Like I didn't know my name, but I was like, I know him. Oh shit, that's what's up.
and then she goes to the people's house to ask them to pay the phone bill or like to log into their
Wow.
account.
To just give her the money to do it, or whatever the case may be. That was wild.
Mm-hmm.
That was not. We already know she's not sane, but that's just not something you do to grieving parents that already
Especially,
hate you.
especially because like they straight out the gate said like we know you killed like Marissa, and
Yeah,
for our like from our perspective, we see Dre with like the white guy that night, like that's her
yeah.
like alibi, but
Hmm. Again,
she is an
unreliable
unreliable
narrator.
narrator. So we don't know if Rory Culkin was even there.
Exactly. So it's like, where were you? Because what you watched the Beyonce trailer not Beyonce, sorry, the Niger trailer, and the next thing you know, you walking down the street with the dress, and you go to the club like that's not you at all.
Mm.
Like, that's not you at all.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on?
Yeah.
You're
It's
like, oh my,
yeah. I did
how
love
long?
that's a good episode though with Leon.
Mm-hmm.
What did you like the most about it?
What I liked the most about it was it shows it gave her more of a backstory and the fact that she has this shrine of Marissa in her attic, and that's what made me that fuels me even more to believe like it's not just Nigel, it was Rissa. Like she was more obsessed with Rissa because they both loved Nigel. Nigel was just the catalyst to their love, or whatever. So when because all this started, everything really spiraled out of control, not because somebody talked about Nigel, it's because Rissa took her life, supposedly took her life. So if Rissa was still alive, she still, even if she didn't see Nigel that weekend or whatever case we, she still would have had Nigel to keep her in control. So her seeing this shrine and this and everything, and she started punching herself. And then you got Leon saying stuff like, you are a cancer to this household, and she has to listen to stuff, and he's shooting at her. It was just one of those things where it was like, damn, the ice breaks. This is what opens it up. This is what opens up everybody's theory about Dre, and then the next episode we get the documentary of what just happened, and then the next episode. So it's like, that was a good segue. That was just a great, I would like to call it like the start of the climax of the
Mm-hmm.
series. You know, because everything before was just like, oh shit, this is just some wild stuff. This one
Mm-hmm.
was more what you like to say, the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
This was more of the feast of her character, the reason why she doing what she does, um, her mental stability of her, like how she just started beating up on herself. And she was actually trying to be gangster in there a little bit. She had the gun on grandma, on the mama, and the mama was like, "You gonna shoot?" Like, you do what you do. I was like, "Oh, that's wow, that's some good
Mm-hmm.
shit." And Leon come out over with a shotgun. I'm like, "Yo!"
Yeah.
It felt like a different show. Like, I mean, each episode did, but this one really felt. This one kind of looped back to the first episode. That's what kind of tied everything back together. So I love that. It was really cool. It was really good.
It's so interesting also to like examine Girl By with Falling Through the Cracks because
Mm-hmm.
like you mentioned before, Marissa's mother is very apathetic to seeing Dre again. Like she even like says like hello Dre like before she even like sees
Mm-hmm.
her, before she even like walks into frame. So she
Yeah.
like almost anticipates that she's there. She knows that she's there. And
Mm-hmm.
when you watch the documentary, the mom is like crying. Like the mom is like so
Yeah.
apologetic. She doesn't want to say anything bad about her. She doesn't want to like speak like, out of turn about this young girl. Like she feels so sad because she feels like she didn't do enough. She feels like she could have done more to help her. Like she's crying on this like detective's shoulder about it because she
Mm-hmm.
feels like this is such a failure. Like she lost
Mm-hmm.
her daughter and she lost this young girl Dre. Like there was more that she could have done to help her. And it's so
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see like those two parallels where like I don't
Yeah.
know, it's strange. It also makes it makes me think almost like did Dre leave the funeral because like the family told her to, or like she just couldn't be there to like
You're right.
see Marissa be dead. You
Yeah,
know.
if we're gonna keep going with the unreliable narrative, it's like when she was at the household, maybe her interpretation was hostile, but really they was trying to have an intervention with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you need to come to terms with Marissa's death. And in her mind, she was like, they're attacking me. You know,
Yes.
they're really attacking me. They're cold. They don't like me. I got to get out of here. But in
Mm-hmm.
reality, they're just like, no, we got to come together. Let's mourn her together. Let's get this off your, let's get you to come to terms with this, and then we can help you get back on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, y'all attacking me. I gotta get out of here. And she leaves, jumps out the window. So runs upstairs, locks herself in the bathroom, jumps out the window.
Mm-hmm.
They yelling at her, come back, and it was like, oh damn. Well, we tried. Like the dad's probably like, we tried, and and the mom was like, we could have did more. And
Yeah.
now this happens,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense because when you have that guilt of what you could have did more, and something tragic happens, like the person that you know and love, you feel like you can help, but then the next thing you know, you didn't do enough, and the next thing you know, they done ran on stage and attack a singer, and now they in jail and going through all kind of prosecutions for murders and stuff. That's gonna eat you alive because you're like, damn, I could have did more. I could have did this. Like the end of that what's that movie? Liam Neeson movie, Schindler's List, where he's like, I could have did more. I could have did this. I could have did that. And like that's the mindset. So if we going with that narrative, the unreliable narrative, because we especially see it at the end of episode 7, where she fucking delusional as hell. Like she just goes, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. I also have to say, like, episode 3 is so funny to me because I feel like if people are not if y'all are not deep in like the Beyonce Hive lore, then I feel like episode 3 is relatable to like everyone can like recognize what it is. Like when Dre finally gets to see Nisha up close and like in front of her, and because she is so taken aback by Nisha and so overwhelmed, she bites her.
Yeah.
And she runs, and then the two people on the dock sitting there smoking a cigarette are like, "Who's that girl?" And the guy's like, "That's a chick from playing basketball." Like, obviously not Sanaya Lathan. Like, but
right.
Who has stated in interviews that it was a love bite. So
Sanaya Lathan bit Beyonce.
She confirmed it. This is not a rumor.
Oh my god, that's funny. Because I was trying to figure out who was it.
Yeah,
and it was like I must have missed when he said that. Oh, but it was very possible. But oh man, that's funny.
I remember when like the news first broke out, and like my theory was that like a lot of people thought it was like a white woman, like Amy Schumer. Someone thought it was Tina Fey, and I was like, that is not something she would do. She would never do something that stupid. No, absolutely not. But some people had a theory that it was a black woman because like black women in Hollywood treat their like little, their ascension into Hollywood as like a sorority almost. Like Gabrielle Union has talked about this in interviews where like if she gets a role and she asks for like a certain figure, they say no, she's gonna call up the next girl. She's like, okay, so this is what I asked for. This is what they're gonna offer you. So that's what you ask for, and see if you get it. Okay. And then like the next girl is like, okay, I didn't get it. I'm gonna call the next girl and let her know. It's kind of like a whole sisterhood kind of thing. So the reason why like no one really knew for a long time who had bit Beyonce was because like, well, we can't tell anybody.
Can't tell anybody, right? It's a sisterhood. Can't go.
No. Like, is it Beyonce? It's Beyonce, yes, but like, y'all, we can't do her like that.
Right.
But eventually the news came out.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was funny. But I think that like episode 6 is so interesting in comparison to episode 7, like you said, because I think in episode 6, the detective says that like, oh, so Dre was seen running on stage after Beyonce Jay-Z in concert, which is very reflective of when Beyonce and Jay-Z on Everything Is Up tour performed at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and someone ran on stage after Beyonce, and the dancers were like, I remember when that video first dropped on Twitter, and the dancers were like, wait, what? Who's that? They're like, no, wait, they're not part of the crew.
No.
And then episode 7, we were watching it at the end. She does go on stage after Beyonce, but
Mm-hmm.
what Dre sees is Nija's face almost intermingled with Chloe Bailey's face as a
Yep.
way of like, oh, she's finally been accepted. When like, no, girl, you were accepted into Fulton County custody.
You
All
are
right,
exactly.
okay, APD's had to lock her up.
And that's why I like the fact that they put fall through the cracks before, because if they wouldn't did that, everybody was like, there's no way she got accepted. But no, they already told her she got locked the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
episode was sad for me because I actually thought it was sad and frustrating at the same time, because I knew that the girl was gonna get killed in some way, right? It was sad because how she got killed, and I'm frustrated because you could have got up. Like, you could have got up and fought back or something. She just lay there and took it for a little while, and by the time it was too late, she couldn't do anything about it. I'm like, in the beginning, you could have like eye gouged or something. Like, I get it, that was just love, and she was foolish. I'm not gonna say stupid. She was foolish too, because see, you mentioned every time I see you got a new car, nobody changed cars like that. Nobody changed cars like that. That's
Right. Where are you getting
nobody
these money
cars
for
like
these
that.
cars?
Oh, I'm, it's okay. Like, no, you
Don't
out
you have
here
to
stealing
like
cars, and
sign a lease, show your license to get a
yes,
car? Where are you buying these cars from?
and the bank is gonna be like, "Why you just got another loan a
Yeah.
week ago? No, we're
Girl,
not
there
giving
is
you
an
another."
APB out for your arrest. Like, when she met the girl, the cops were searching through
Mhm.
her original car. So I'm
Yeah,
like, how'd she get that charger? How?
she stole it. So with the other girl, she didn't question anything.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to Cree Summers though. I like the fact that
Oh
Cree
my
Summers was
God.
in it. I love Cree Summers.
There are so many good guest stars in this show. It's crazy.
Yes, yes. She was just. It was beautiful in the beginning. It was a beautiful episode, but then she couldn't stay away from Naja.
Also, when she met the girl, she said she didn't like Naja.
And for her birthday, I got you Naja tickets with her
Why?
money. With her money.
Why? This girl works 2 jobs. You don't do nothing. You don't help
You
out
don't do
with
nothing.
rent. Suddenly you pop
Also,
up, new car every other week, Naja tickets. How?
I was like, bro, it was that a showcase of black dudes who can't get it right,
Mm-hmm.
who can't get right. That's what I call them, can't get right, because they do keep on doing the same shit over and over again, thinking they're gonna do thinking it's gonna be different.
You don't have money for child support, for diapers, for rent, for groceries, but you got money to smoke. Where'd that money come
You got
from?
money, you got money to go to hit up the plug. You got
Mm-hmm.
money to hit the club when you want to.
Hmm.
Now, I would say this: a lot of, just like that brotherhood thing we was talking about earlier, it's a lot of dudes who have be getting taken care of by their mans. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they buy the weed for them and everything. Oh, they no, that wasn't say taken care of. They leech. They're leeches.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they'll do is they'll come over knowing that they do them breed up or got him something from the plug or whatever. And he just chill with them all day, play 2K and shit. Like those, I'm like, yeah, those are the low value dudes that the girls be talking about on podcasts. For some
Yeah.
reason, they always got girls around them. I don't. It's the friends. It's the friends. We figured it
Yeah.
out. It's the you got somebody for my man's. My man's is the deadbeat. Is the broke dude
Listen, he
that
can't
they
get
gotta
nobody
take
on his
care
own. I
of.
gotta help him out. I gotta help him out, man. He can't be lonely when I'm hanging out with this girl because I don't know what he's gonna
Exactly.
do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta keep it
You
busy.
gotta
I
have a
can't put him
friend.
from the iPad. I gotta give him something to do.
Give my iPad. You can watch Bluey.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What are your overall thoughts on the show? Because I feel like one other thing that we didn't mention, I found it interesting
Mhm.
how like Dre eats a lot of junk food. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. That was her whole thing.
Yeah, and like
That's
she has really bad acne.
yeah.
Hmm.
So it was like bad, just bad diet, bad skin. Just
Doesn't take care of herself. Like very childlike almost.
very how she eats. She a handful. Like the scene when she had with the dude that lost all the weight,
Uh huh.
and how they was feeding each other, whatever. I was like, she done messed that man life up. Didn't she didn't intentionally kill. She didn't directly kill him, but she probably sent him down a spiraling path back to obesity and whatever. Which doctor said he was gonna kill. You know, you was gonna kill yourself, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
damn, that was a crazy episode. I
Yeah.
mean, all these episodes are crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
that one was cool. That was what the third episode. Yeah, that was the third one when she was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the episode where she got into that guy's house and she like bashed his leg? It was crawling away. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
house is too nice for no security. This house is too nice for no
How do
cameras.
you break in there? Like
Yeah.
it's some things in the episode that showed like what I like to call uh I don't like to call it. It's basically just cracks, whatever. I got like a fancy word for it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
basically just cracks in the show that you don't pay attention to because you so immersed with the show. But the more you sit down and start breaking it down, or if the writing is bad to where it kind of breaks you from that hold of being immersed in it, you start to notice things that you kind of brushed off. So like that's one of them. Like how is she getting from place to place, breaking into people's houses that don't have security and everything? Nobody just gonna put two and two together outside of the detective that person they missing junk food and everything. I mean, that one right there was kind of a reach, but still, it's just things that you notice. So my overall thought item of the show is I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good interpret. It doesn't represent all fandom, but it does represent that dark side of fandom that people like to kind of like brush to the side, and that obsessive attitude that people have when it comes to celebrities, even if it's just singers, rappers, actors, and now social media stars and Twitch stars, uh, TikTok, whatever, celebrities. We have people who are obsessing over these people to the point where they are showing up to their houses uninvited. They are stalking them in public. They are doing all kinds of things to be noticed. It's one of the things that it shows that dark side, and it gives you like a caution of a tale of like, hey, this might seem exaggerated as hell, but it can happen, and you can take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
You're right. Because I do remember a story where, like, there were a couple stories. I don't know if it was 2009 where a man broke into like Rihanna's house and then Miranda Cosgrove's house.
Yeah, yeah,
Rihanna's house has been broken into a couple times.
yeah. It was a whole string. It's a documentary now of a girl. I want to say it's on HBO, where she was in the group that went around
Mm-hmm.
robbing all the celebrities in Los Angeles. Like like they just breaking into people's houses. Like
Yeah. I
so
do
yeah.
want to say, like, I think the show does an interesting and very compelling job of examining parasocial relationships, which is something that, like, people love to throw that word around parasocial. But I
Mhm.
think that it does an interesting job of kind of like going the extra mile because
Yeah.
there are fans who will dox you if you say
Yeah.
something bad about their celebrity. Like, there was a TikToker by the name of Eric. I don't remember his full name, but he made a video talking about like Nicki Minaj responding to Megan Thee Stallion's track Hiss, which
Yeah.
initially a lot of people read as like a diss track towards Nicki, which it could have been, but I feel like it was like a general diss track overall to a lot of people. And she
Yeah. To a lot of
said,
people.
like,
It was one line towards Nikki.
yeah, she said it
Yeah.
on the Breakfast Club, like, hey, a hit dog's gotta holler. You know, if you feel like
Yeah.
this is targeting you, then it might be, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and this TikToker Eric made a video about Nicki's response to Hiss, and a Nicki fan doxed him, and so he
Yeah.
pursued like legal action against this girl. And it
Hmm.
kind of this show does a good job of examining like if someone goes to the distance of like doxing you and sharing
Hmm.
your personal address online to other fans who are diehard Nicki fans, then
Hmm.
it's only one more step for those people to show up to your house and do
Right.
something drastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not out of the realm of possibility because we live in America. We live in a country where like
Mhm.
guns are very easily accessible to people, and a lot of people don't understand boundaries and don't understand self control. So if
Right.
they are willing to, compromise your security and your privacy simply
Mhm.
because they are too attached to someone who does not know who they are, someone that they idolize but don't truly know, then it's not out of the realm of possibility that something can happen to you. Simply for just
Yeah.
like voicing an opinion, whether it's something that's as simple as like, I don't think Nicki is a good rapper, or like, I think Nicki marrying a predator is like a huge red flag, especially considering her
Yeah.
track record with predators.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't even matter like
It
where it
doesn't matter.
falls. Yeah, people respond how they feel see is fit, and they do not have any like awareness about whether they're going too far or not, because they're willing to do whatever they can for their queen. And it's worse because like, with at least with like Swarm, it's about like, it's obviously like a parody of like Beyonce stands, and
Mhm.
at least with Beyonce stands, there's like Beyonce stands who know that like there are Beehive members that do too much. We
Yeah.
don't know those people, like we
Yeah.
don't rock with them. And with Nicki stands, a lot of y'all just look like the crazy ones because you all seem to be up in arms every
they
other
all
week.
they all drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Like, y'all went after Lotto for like the smallest thing. Y'all
Oh
went
my
after
god.
Doja. Y'all went
They
after
they
Megan because
go
she
out
made
there.
WAP. Like,
If a new female artist come out, female rap artist come out, and she don't do a feature with Nicki, it's a problem.
if you don't say Nicki's the greatest artist in the first interview you do,
It's the
it's
problem.
it's a problem.
If you wasn't inspired by Nicki, if you was inspired by somebody else, you are a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy to me. Yeah. I know a couple. I when I did my little honest opinion on them, I was like, hey, I give her flowers for the rap game. That's it. For
Mm-hmm.
what she with the earlier stuff. I don't really like her new stuff out now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what do you mean by that? That's just like what I mean. Like,
Uh-huh.
and it was like, and I said something about Beyonce, and it was like, you must ain't seen Swarm. I didn't say nothing bad about it. I said, hey,
Right.
I'm not in the Beehive, but I do like some Beyonce music.
Mm-hmm.
I got hit with, oh, you know you're the Beehive, and I also got hit with, why you gotta say you're not in the Beehive? And I was like, yo,
Oh
like
my
y'all about to
god.
say what I said, man.
It's like, just watch
So
the video, bro. Just like,
yeah, man, just watch. Like, no, people. One thing I learned: everybody got to make their point across. Everybody got to get their point across. They got to say something. It don't matter if you come at it in the most PC way, the most
mm,
politically correct way. You still gonna offend somebody. So you might as well just say what you want and stop stepping around eggshells, because somebody can always have something to say in the opposition of you.
mm-hmm. I
So
do think that like, one thing that I I connected with Dre's character because I could see like myself when I was younger. Someone
mhm.
who like is very shy and like very like reserved, who
Yeah.
um becomes very fascinated with certain communities and like finds community in those things. For me, it wasn't like Beyonce at first. To be honest, I was a really big Potterhead when I was younger. So I was really into that. So whenever anyone said like their favorite book and it wasn't Harry Potter, I would immediately be like, "So have you read Harry Potter?" So have you read Harry Potter? Oh, I've read
That's
all books. Like I read like all the books in like 3 days. How fast did you read all the books?
Oh wow.
Like I was that kid. Like I was that annoying. And I
Yeah,
grew out of it when I got into high school cuz like there are other books to read. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw a little bit of myself in Dre in that sense.
Mhm,
And then to see her like, cuz I don't know, I assume Dre is like maybe in her 20s or something like that. Um
mhm.
to see like how far she went, kind of like examining the dangers in parasocial relationships. But I
Yeah.
do feel like a lot of times with Donald Glover works, you will introduce certain things about a character, but you don't really like dive deep into like
Mhm.
what makes this character the way that they are. And I understand that, like, because Dre is an unreliable narrator, we can't take everything that happens in the show as gospel, because it could be things that are like misconstrued. Like you said with the episode where like we meet Marissa's parents, it could be
Yeah.
that it was an intervention, but she read it as hostile because she doesn't want to let Marissa go. You know,
Yeah,
she doesn't want to
yeah.
move on in her grief because something about
Mm-hmm.
that grief is comfortable and like it connects her to Marissa because Marissa
Right.
isn't here anymore. So if she moves on, she feels like she loses that connection to her. She wants the phone
Mm-hmm.
to stay on. She just wanted to go to the house to ask them to pay for the phone bill. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that in the show is interesting, but a lot of times when I'm watching the show, it felt like I was watching like the extended version of an Atlanta character. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? She
yeah.
felt like if Atlanta like Swarm felt like a spinoff of Atlanta for one of Atlanta's characters. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even with these 7 episodes, there's still so much I would like to understand about Dre. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Sorry, my mom just walked in the room.
You okay?
She walked in the room. I didn't see her. She fully scared me.
I was
All
like, yo,
right.
what happened?
I'm so sorry. Usually when she comes in, she knocks. It's okay. It's okay. What was I saying? Right.
um,
I wish that.
they
I
would
wish.
have went more into Dre's
Yeah.
story and everything. Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish we got to know Dre a little bit more as
Mm-hmm.
like a character who she is. I think that there were a lot of things that people picked up on and people like, analyzed and kind of like decoded as people do when they watch those shows. But that's
Mm-hmm.
another criticism, like I said before, that I have about Donald Glover shows is that a lot of times when you're watching his works, you have to figure it out for yourself what's going on. And like, although I don't need hand holding, I'll figure it out. But
Mm-hmm.
don't make me watch your show and like I feel like I'm getting something wrong. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I see one thing, if someone else sees something else, then I'm like, so what's going
Which
on
one is
here?
it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that you want people to like come to their own conclusion and you want people
Mm-hmm.
to like, have their own thoughts and form their own ideas around the show and like everyone has a different perspective, but creators create something with an idea in mind. And
And
if
intent.
you, yeah, what is your intent with this show? Because you can
Mm-hmm.
say like there are crazy fans out there and some of y'all just do too much. Like that's fine. If you want to break it down, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine. But like I feel like the stance that Donald Glover and Stephen Glover have when they're like, we just make our shows and like if you think something about it, then like that's what you think and like that's your
Yeah.
assumption about it.
Then that's
Like
what it is. That's it.
it is what it
That's
is.
it.
Yeah, but me personally, I'm just like, no, I need you to like, I need
And
y'all
that's
to explain what's going on. What's got with Dre? How did she meet Marissa again after she was unfostered from her, and then now they're living together? I need a like the
the
piece
filling the gaps.
fill in the
Yeah.
gaps. The puzzle is
Yeah.
missing its pieces. This is not a full picture.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I was talking about with Mr. and Mrs. Smith and everything. Like you're gonna get from point A is episode 1, episode 2 is somehow point D.
Mm-hmm.
So B and C is out there somewhere. Like that already happened. So you got to rock with it. And then once you get to episode 3, you're on F. And you're like, hold on. like I feel like I'm missing something in this
Mm-hmm.
story, but at the same time, for me anyway, at the same time, you're enjoying the journey, but then you'll see bits and pieces or hear bits and pieces of B and C in episode 3 where you're at F or whatever. So if that makes sense. So like you can kind of fill in the gap a little bit, but it's nothing concrete. You just be like, oh, okay. 'Cause I can explain something without spoiling it for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. One minute they meet up, they know they're spies, they know this is for the mission. The next episode, they're together, and then they're happy, and then they start talking about stuff like, oh, he got rotted in the countryside, and he was like, we should get a place out here. It's like you say that in every places we go through. So that right there, that dialogue tells you they done been on multiple missions to the point where she knows his pattern of him saying, oh, we should get something out here. This would be nice to live, da da da, because it's been some months of work together and they are a team now. They have habits forming. So it's little bits and nuggets that you have to pay attention to his work because it's in everything he does. Atlanta, what's the movie he did? Oh, not movie, sorry. Mr. and Miss Smith, Swarm, bits and pieces of nuggets there left there and there, or you can just tell by the time framing of how long things go. He's not gonna tell you, of course, but you
Yeah.
just have to pick that shit up,
Right.
and that's fine. But sometimes you be skipping out on some of the meatier parts of the dish that it comes out a little bland
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people. It comes out very bland. It's like you don't have the seasoning of the details, if that makes sense. So Donald, I mean, I like his work, but it's definitely not for everybody.
Mm.
But at the same time, I understand where people coming from when they say they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like because I did my review on Mr. and Smith, people were like, oh, I hated it, especially since it was a remake. It was already gonna get hated because it's a
Yeah.
remake of, and a lot of people got racist, very fucking racist. They try to
Mm-hmm.
make it seem like, oh well, that's not a race. I'm like, it is racist because you
Mm-hmm.
wanted a white couple because Brad Pitt and
Angelina
Angelina
Jolie.
Jolie, Jolie was white, and then that is the remake of an old show back in the 70s. I want to say 70s and 60s, and they were white, of course, because it was the 60s. So it's like now there's a black man and an Asian woman, y'all have an issue with it, even though if you watch the show, you know that the the Mrs. and Mrs. Smith are an agency of just spies. So there's multiple different uh, partners. There's not the exact same John and Jane Smith. So I don't know. They were gonna hate it regardless. But since it's filmed that way of bouncing from time and skipping over things and just giving a little bit of information here and there, people was like, "Oh, it's even worse than I thought." And I was like, "Damn, that's interesting."
Yeah. I
Yeah.
am. I'm actually, now that you're talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm going to start it because I
Mhm.
have been putting it off for a bit, and
Right, right.
I feel like with Donald Glover's work, I will always be a fan to a certain extent because
Hmm.
I always know what he's going to deliver. You know, I
Yeah,
know that everything he makes is good. And
yeah.
it's not only good, it's like it's really is like masterful work. And
Hmm.
I admire Donald Glover because there are not often do we get like creatives who have the space to like make the things that they want to make. And you could tell in everything that Donald makes, it's clearly his own vision, it's his own work, and I
Hmm.
appreciate that. And even though like maybe maybe we can like, sit down and talk about like why things are the way they are. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
break it down a
right,
little
right,
bit. But if he
right.
doesn't want to do that, that's fine. I'm not gonna push him. I'm not.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's whatever. And I still like
Yeah.
think about how we could have had the Deadpool series on FX with
Uh,
Donald. But I think that the reason why that show didn't get made ties into our earlier conversation of like gatekeepers and how
yeah,
they want certain things from like people. Like the
yeah,
reason why Tyler Perry, all of his shows get greenlit by BET is because the things that he makes are things that are going to be watched by people who watch BET. And
yeah,
Viacom knows this and they
yeah,
invest in that. And the same
yeah.
way, like Donald Glover's Atlanta was doing very, very well, and FX wanted to give him, the Deadpool show. But the one thing that FX was expecting, because he like shared a example of a script that wasn't actually a script, but I think it was supposed to be like a parody of like what the script could have been. Where I think
Right.
essentially Deadpool was going to be like a character that commentated on like ongoing popular events in a way where it's
Uh,
very Deadpool. Where like
yeah,
Ryan Reynolds, he talks to the camera, he like breaks the fourth wall, and it's
yeah,
funny. But when Donald Glover does it, it's not in a like funny way where a white guy does it, and like we could all laugh. It's a way where it's like, can we talk about the
yeah,
time that Lena Dunham made me a black Republican on her show? Can we talk
yeah,
about that? It's like that. It's like let's get uncomfortable. And FX is
yeah,
like, you know what? You could keep Atlanta.
yeah,
This
yeah.
project, we're not
Let's
gonna
put
do
this on.
that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do
Yeah.
that. Put that on the table real quick.
And
We're gonna ship.
even Ryan Reynolds like came out and like said that he felt like whatever Donald Glover was going to make from that show was going to be amazing, and he wasn't
Mhm.
involved in it anyway. But he like would have, wanted to have seen
Champion.
what would have
He would
came
have.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have championed it. So I feel like,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that Donald Glover is the kind of creative that has the go ahead and the green light from Amazon,
Mhm.
from other studios to make the things that he wants to make.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him to bend to like what I want to see on television, because whatever he creates,
Right.
I will support. And I do feel like I was hesitant to watch Swarm because he did an interview once where he talked about how like he wanted a character who was almost like animalistic, and I was like, a black woman who's animalistic. I don't know about that,
That
but
sounds problematic already. Yeah.
it's like, you say you want
Yeah.
a black woman who's animalistic, and then you did an interview where you interviewed yourself, asking yourself, why are you scared of black women? That's a little, that's giving a little, it's giving weirdo behavior, but
Yeah. And yeah.
Swarm is a good show. I will say that. It's very good.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I think that's also another reason why he doesn't do interviews a lot. Because oh, Camp Donald Glover did not go away, y'all.
No.
No.
My boy be going through it.
He's fine. He has his
Yeah,
Asian wife. He's fine.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on Swarm?
No, check it out, man. Check out Swarm. Enjoy. Get you a nice. It's a quick binge, so get you some nice snacks. Cancel all your meetings, whatever you're doing that day, and then just enjoy it. If you haven't checked it out, or just do a rewatch. I mean, it's very rewatchable.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You know what? Swarm was a really good show, but I want to go ahead and recommend some other good shows to our listeners. I'm already going to go check out Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Probably tonight or probably tomorrow. I'll like get back into it. And I did recommend Borders on Tubi, which I do highly suggest everyone watch because it is such a good show. And I need a season 2. I need something from that show. I feel like the fact that it's on Tubi means like, oh, it's free and it's accessible to everybody, but it's also like, girl, it's on Tubi. It's not on Netflix.
Right.
Tubi has some budget, but they ain't got like a award show budget. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Not yet. Anyway, if we get more people over there, maybe so. But then they might start charging. So it's kind of like this is what I like to say: slippery slope.
Did you know that Dollar Tree is going to start charging people at minimum $7 for their products?
Man, I heard it was merging with Family Dollar, and they was gonna just adopt the Family Dollar prices.
What's happening?
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like that at all. Like, it was bad enough they went up to $1.25 or whatever. So now it's like, what are y'all doing? There's not enough people shopping at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is amazing.
Dollar Tree. I want you to hear me when I say this. This may just be in my area, but your stores are too dirty and too nasty to be raising these prices. There's a reason why everything is $1. I run in and out of there. All right. You may as well board your stores up right now if you're raising prices.
Yeah, they said it was
wrap it up.
Get rid of the Family Dollars stores and then just adopt the Family Dollar because it's the same company. I'm hearing. So, but no.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations for my listeners? Like,
check out. I would say if you are we talked about Atlanta a lot on here. So if you are a big Atlanta fan, check out the Vince Staples Show. It's basically Atlanta mixed with Insecure.
Yep.
It is really good. It doesn't have the storyline like Insecure, but it's more in Atlanta sense because each episode is different. It's only 5 episodes, real quick binge, really good show. Another one, if you're into more of a action pack, we talked about Michelle Yeoh. Check out the Brother Sons, even though it got canceled. It is a open-ended story that could have potential for a season 2. So check out the Brother Sons. That is an amazing Asian show that definitely needs some love. Another show I was watching. What I was gonna say. And just watch the Boondocks again. I'm trying to get Boondocks because they got this terrible idea of a show that's coming out soon called The Good Times Remake. I hate that. It's a cartoon and it's like a bootleg boot. It's like a no. It's no.
It's so
Do not
bad.
watch that.
It's so
Just do
bad.
not watch that when that come out. Just watch the Boondocks over again, because if you don't believe me, just watch the trailer. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, that's those recommendations I have.
I have to.
That's it.
Sorry. I need to look at it real quick because one thing that I need to know is who's behind this? Who
Seth
signed?
MacFarlane. Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy. Family Guy, American Dad. Is this a worse version of the Cleveland Show? To be honest with you. And Stephen
Sir.
Curry. Somebody else is on it too. Stephen Curry. And we're like, why Steph Curry? Why is your name on this? I don't know who the other person is. I haven't looked them up. Not yet, anyway.
So I'm looking up, and you're right. It is Seth MacFarlane and a producer by the name of Renata Shepard, who is known for a show called Born Again Virgin and a show called Act Your Age,
That
which
is not
was on
good.
Bounce.
Oh, that's old and bounce.
And yeah, the thing is,
No.
it has a good cast. Like it has Yvette Nicole Brown, Tisha Campbell, and Kim Whitley. So like from that, I'm like, maybe it'll be good. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Maybe.
I'm look, I'm looking at the good times, and I see Jay Farrow, Yvette Nicole
Yeah.
Brown, Marseille Martin, and then Gerald Slink Johnson, who I don't know who that is, and then Rashida Sheeds Oleowola. Sorry, I
Yeah.
mispronounced that. But oh, okay. Gerald Johnson played Black Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I know him from. I knew the name
Yeah.
sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason it's the actors themselves are I don't have a problem with them. I don't understand why they did this, but I don't have a problem with their earlier work. But when I
Mm.
watched the trailer, because I was gonna give it a chance, I watched the trailer and they
Mm-hmm.
have so many outdated jokes for one. They're
Mm-hmm.
talking about you stare at the orange juice for 2 hours. You know, I'm like, I caught you staring at orange juice for 2 hours. And he was like, well, the box says concentrate.
I.
And then they have the joke. You remember did you watch Dave Chappelle?
Mm-hmm.
You remember his first stand-up killing me softly?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about the drug dealing baby. They
Yeah.
have a drug dealing baby in it. The baby is a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking about like getting breast milk, and my mouth just got I'm ready to suck on titties and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, this is just cringy as fuck. Like, what are
Yes.
we doing? And they try to throw some nuggets in there, like, oh, the government filled the hood up with guns, and now we try to kill each other. Da, da, da. I'm like, we know this. We know this. Like everybody know this.
Yeah.
This is nothing. You're not breaking. I need something. If you're gonna do this type of satire, if you're gonna do this type of jokes, bring something new to the table.
Yeah.
If you want, oh yeah, if you want to watch something that has like good satire but it's goofy as hell, I'm a Virgo is right there on Prime.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo is really good. It's goofy as hell. Don't get me wrong. It's goofy as hell, but it has some good nuggets about capitalism, black stuff going on in the hood, um, conspiracy theories, all that. You know, so I'm a Virgo is a good show.
I'm sitting here looking at this trailer, and I'm thinking about how Southside got canceled on HBO Max.
I
Like,
love Southside, bro. Like I love Southside. That is my watch Southside. The first them 3 seasons was magical.
I.
Southside, The Winning Time, Black Lady Sketch Comedy Show.
Oh my
I'm not really a
god.
big fan of rap shit, but rap shit did get canceled. So it's like, come on now.
I'm gonna be so honest. Like, I don't know why we needed a Good Times reboot, especially animated. And if you're just
Yeah.
going to pull the same jokes that were in the show from like the time that was on the air, then what's the point of airing it now in the year of our Lord 2024? Like, I know there are people banging down Netflix's door, begging and asking for some time so that they
Mm,
could pitch their shows. And I know
yep.
that Netflix says yes to a number of shows, and they
Mm,
already like know from the first month those shows get on their platform, which
Yeah.
ones they are going to cancel. And I feel
Right.
like just because Norman Lear and Seth MacFarlane said yes to this project and they want to go forward with it, this is why they greenlit it. And I
Yep.
don't understand the purpose or the reason behind it. Because like me, I'm not a huge fan of every Kenya Burris show, but at least this man knows how to write. What's going on? Because it feels like you said, this is
Yeah.
just a bunch of stereotypes, and they're just like making jokes. But these jokes are funny. They don't land. There's nothing to it. There's no depth. There's no real comedy. You can't say it's satire because there's nothing intelligent to say behind these
That,
jokes. So what's the
that's all.
point of this?
Yeah.
And I'm also going to bring up, guys, don't hate watch this show. Because what people like to do is they see something and people are like, initial reactions, I'm not going to watch it. And people are always like, you
Mhm.
shouldn't judge something from the trailer. That's the point of the trailer, to judge the
Yeah.
project. Why would you put
Yes.
out a trailer if you don't want me to judge it? That's the reason
If
it's there, okay?
the
They're like, watch
trailers,
the
the
whole show
trailer
and
should
then judge it.
have the
Yeah.
trailer should have all your mid-tier level jokes,
Yes.
right? Not the bottom tier, not the top, because if you show your best jokes, then people gonna say what I'm watching the show for. But if you're
Mhm.
showing your middle tier jokes, people are not gonna watch it because it's corny. Mid-tier level jokes. So I should be like, oh snap, that's pretty damn funny.
Mhm.
Let me check this out.
Yeah.
Or show that it has some type of substance. This has no substance, like we were saying, it has no substance. The jokes are corny. Okay,
No
cool.
value, no purpose.
So I'm sitting here like I'm not gonna hate watch it, and I think I'm not gonna say I was like I talk shit about Velma a lot. Like I dog walk that show. I like every chance I got, and I don't know if a lot of people are like, well, let me go see why he hate this show so much because they got a season 2, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not ever talking about this show ever again because I'm just gonna act like it just doesn't exist.
To be honest, like I love Mindy Kaling, but I feel like everyone has talked about this already. But like, girl, every single character you have is a self-insert. Like, why is it? Because I watched the Media Project. I watched all 5 seasons. I watched her go through every single white man in New York. So we're doing this in every show she has with every brown character. It's like at some point we must move on. Please.
Learn how to write about somebody else.
Girl. Oh my gosh. I know they say write what you know, but at a certain point, it's like you need to write in your journal, babe.
Yeah.
We need to collaborate with somebody.
And leave it there.
Please. Like I don't know what else to do. I can't even watch Sex Lives of College Girls because I don't want to watch that brown girl fall in love with a white boy in college. Like, too many of my sisters have walked down that path, and we are free now. We're free.
Let's go do what you do. You know,
Please.
You got way more options.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it lie. Let it rest. Let it die. Like,
exactly.
Stop. So I'm just asking everybody, like, don't watch a Good Time reboot. Don't watch it just to see. Don't watch it to see if we're lying. Because if y'all go and watch that show and it gets to season 2, I'm going to be mad. Because they did that with Insatiable. And they did it with a number of other shows on Netflix that are bad. And yet Netflix was like, you know what we should do? Write them another check. Let's see another season coming. Come on. And then you cancel the good shows that people like. Like, I'm not okay with this. Like,
yeah, I'm not okay with this. They canceled End of the Fucking World.
Yeah,
that one got 2 seasons, but they canceled it. They canceled Archive 81. They canceled.
That was a good show.
Man,
that was a good show.
That was a great show. Dude. And I was here like, yo, what? Oh my gosh. Yeah, but Netflix, I got a love-hate relationship with them because they drop some big anime, they drop some good shows every now and then, but then they just cancel them, and I'm just like, yo, people, watch the show, watch it, please, because they go off that first buff finish, start to finish ratio.
Yeah.
So if it's a lot of people starting it but not finish it in that first buff, they'll cancel it like right then and there. So
I would say, like, in terms of that, when it comes to like cancellations, Netflix did release numbers in terms of their like shows from January 2023 to June 2023, and it showed that a lot of shows that got a lot of good numbers and like a lot of people watched it still got canceled.
Yeah,
that is also not true. The numbers, it's something else. Ted Sarandos
Yeah.
Listen, sir, when I see you in these streets, you're gonna have to answer.
And this what I think is one of the things where like when they see a good IP up for sale,
Mhm.
they're like, okay, we gotta make some room for this year's budget.
That's why they keep
What's
adding anime on their platform. Like, I already pay for Crunchyroll. Like, you can't make me leave.
that's what they're trying to be this big giant conglomerate, this
Yeah.
big giant app where you don't need no other no other platform. And Netflix has everything.
That's
We
why
got
they're trying
movies,
to
we got
take the
we
HBO
got everything.
shows.
Yeah. Like we got everything. You don't need to go there. We got you miss watching old Moesha? We got it. You miss watching Jamie Foxx show? We got it. They don't want you to go nowhere else.
I do
They
love the
trying to be
Jamie
like
Foxx
Hulu.
show.
They try to be like Hulu. They trying to be like Max. They're trying to be like, even though they started this whole shit.
Hmm. That's
They
why
was
they
like, no,
have shows on Peacock now,
mm-hmm.
which is
They
weird.
got Paramount shows too. They got School Spirits.
Yeah.
That was on Paramount, which is still going on, by the way.
Yeah.
School Spirits is actually pretty good. School
It is
Spirits is
really
actually
good.
yeah. I
Also,
ain't really like
Hulu is becoming an app with Disney Plus,
yeah.
which somebody needs to let me know how much that is before I say yes.
Me
Because
too.
this
It
budget is
depends.
about to say no. The
It
budget's
depends
about to
on
say, sorry, girl.
if it depends on if you want ads or not.
Yeah. Listen, I'll pay extra for ads, but it depends on how much extra I'm
Oh yeah,
paying.
facts.
I'm already paying extra for an outside household member on Netflix. And we about to say no. We about to say, sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Out of business.
my best friend. We had to chop him off. You know, we had to.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother. but but yeah,
Okay.
it's these ad wars are getting out of hand. But
The streaming
that's another
wars.
topic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say ad wars. But yeah, streaming wars. Yeah, but yeah, that's another topic.
You know what, guys? We're gonna wrap it up there. I want to thank Mr. Rogers for coming on the show.
Yes, yes.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Roger Review, or you can hit me up on TikTok, which was my launching platform at Mr. Roger Review. I'm also on YouTube, same name, Mr. Roger Review, except I got a zero in Rogers. Somebody already had Mr. Roger Review. They're not good as they're not as good as me. I'll tell you that right now. And Twitch, Mr. Roger Review all the way through. And you can also hit me up on Twitter if you want to. Twitter, Thanos was right. That's me. Just come through, chill, talk, and we can have a good time. Enjoy my videos, enjoy my content. I'm a nice guy. I talk a lot of shit, but I'm an open book. Come hit me up.
Guys, all of his links will be in the description down below. Don't forget to check out I've Been Meaning to Watch That wherever you find your podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and also don't forget to tell your friends and family about your favorite new podcast, I've Been Meaning to Watch That. And don't forget to go on Amazon Prime and watch Swarm and let us know what you think. And we will see you guys next week with another episode.
Awesome.
Bye.